Hello, Skelevaderites. Welcome to another episode of Toy Frenzy. I was like, am I going to say it? Okay, I'll say it.
You've got to say it. You've got to say it now.
All right, so here we are. Guys, thanks for letting me show off this nonsense tonight on the Frenzy. All right, so here we are. Guys, thanks for letting me show off.
Sorry if you guys heard that. My video started playing.
I was like, am I talking to myself?
Yeah, I thought it was a weird loop or something.
I didn't realize it was going to just start up automatically on my phone. So we're
all
pros.
Right, so,
yeah, we're.
So guys, this is an art exhibit that I've got some artwork in here. Do you want to have a look?
Yeah,
No.
definitely.
Absolute.
All right.
We're going to throw you up full screen so everybody can get a good view.
All right, sounds good. So we'll start you off from the beginning. I'm going to turn it around so I don't have to look at myself. Okay, so we'll start off here. So this is a 9x12 painting by yours truly. And that's what starts to show off. You come in and you get up next to this thing.
Pan the camera down just a little.
Oh, there.
There we go.
Yeah,
that's it.
All right.
And it's really amazing.
It's hanging like a sail. And so these are abstract paintings, and then you'll see some sculptures. These are things that I've been working on for like 5 years. When I haven't been working on the dioramas and models.
Pan it down just a little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're holding it just a little high. There we go.
I like that blue one. That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I got some smaller pieces over here. So these are like oil paint and ink and graphite on paper, these smaller pieces. And this is the paint. Really cool. This is the painting that was on the flyer.
Yeah, that one's awesome too.
And these are ink on photo printer paper.
Okay, is that how it gets that real gloss kind of look to it?
The gloss is the glass, and underneath it's a very matte, like very, very sort of grainy matte finish to the paper, but the glass is what gives it that gloss.
Okay.
And then we get over here. These are some larger paintings.
I really like the blue and the pink on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody who's into Masters of the Universe can tell I'm definitely using colors that are found on the action figures, and it's just like a nostalgic drive to use that stuff.
See, now you inspire me, because I've done some paintings as well, but I've always been embarrassed to show them.
Oh man, it takes a lot. Like I get real nervous about showing this stuff.
Like you're not good enough or something, you know?
Exactly.
Because I got like 10 of them I've painted, but I wonder.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Bobby, man. It's hard so I was real nervous today. Yeah. I got real nervous before going live, not like other like toy frenzies. And I get nervous anyways.
Yeah.
So we just got a couple of people here who are commenting in about it. And, SJ is saying, wait, what? You're in an art gallery?
That's right. That's right.
And Payne's Toy Sample saying mixed media.
Yep, mixed media for sure.
Damn straight.
And we're actually getting some impressions from your artwork. My buddy's Customs says, I almost see a wolf head in that gray and blue painting.
Oh yeah, this one? Yeah, it's definitely an organic shape reminiscent of something. A friend of mine just said E.T. not too long ago.
I could see that.
I was thinking Snoopy.
Yeah, Snoopy too, for sure.
The one with the
For
black
sure.
that looks like Jack Kirby energy.
And then there's some sculptures here. I'll start off with this one.
I love this one. I watched that video that you were on that what was that show that you were on just yesterday?
The Central Valley Talk.
Yes, Central Valley Talk. That was it.
Yeah, this is a chair from my family, and then I built a plaster body to sit in it, and then added this sort of flowy, bubbly head thing to the top. And those that watch my channel, you probably recognize the Matterhorn that I started to build, and I thought that I needed to put it on a pedestal and give it some color and turn it into something else. That's this. And I got this crazy sculpture here with these little tiny organic shapes on the inside.
I'm digging that, and the way you put them in the little cubbies there.
Yeah, the cubbies. And then there's this big wooden spire thing on the top. And then there's some cubbies on the other side too.
Oh, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Nice.
I'm going to head out now, but and leave you guys to the important talk. But I'm going to do like another walkthrough video and post that on the channel in the next few days.
Okay.
So, thank you all for doing this with me.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
That's awesome.
And everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here and doing this, and thank you so much for tuning into the Frenzy. We love you all, man. And Sean, Bobby, Oz, have a great show. I'll be watching this tomorrow morning.
All right,
All right,
sounds good,
brother.
man. And enjoy your show.
All right, bye.
Absolutely.
See ya.
Bye.
We'll see you, Skelly. Man, just how cool is that? You know,
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
Love it.
The fact that we could be in all different parts of, I mean, most of us throughout the United States. We have Eldor's in the chat all the way from Eternia, and he got to go to Skelly's art gallery through this. I mean,
True.
that is fantastic. I think it's really cool that we live in an age where we can do this kind of thing. And, you know, honestly, hanging out with your buds for a night, talking about the stuff you guys are passionate about, it doesn't get much more fun than that.
No, definitely not.
Absolutely not. It's
So,
always a good thing.
all right. Well, as we're going to kick things off here tonight, GamerBud has done another wonderful intro. I swear to God, I'm going to try to keep it together a lot better this week than I did last week. I lost it.
Yeah, it was a good one. I hope this one's good because I need it. I really do. It's been a crazy week. I need something good to make me laugh.
Well, that's what we're all here for tonight, to have some good laughs, good fun conversation, and just really forget about all the madness that happens out there in the world for a night.
Yeah.
By getting involved in a frenzy. So GamerBud wasn't joking when he was talking about putting my acting attributes here to the test, but I've got to say I'm probably not going to be able to do all the little asides he's included in here for me. So, hello and greetings, Toy Frenzy. Introducing new Skelly on the block. Unfortunately, he is not here now.
He's on the block though.
So
that's true. Yeah.
Yep. He is on the block. We just saw him, so he was definitely right there doing exactly as GamerBud had intended for the intro, really. And that leads us right into the next part of all of us playing our part is Ostradamus Dance My Little Monkey Dance.
I say you got to show some moves. Yeah.
I had to get Connor over again, and he'll show everybody his Wednesday Adam dance moves some more.
All right.
And we have the beautiful, blushing, he's gone and back again, Bobby Motu.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be on tonight, but I decided I had to be here. Yeah.
Woohoo!
All right. So starting today. Oh, wait. And special guest, Mattel's classic Castle Grayskull in all of its glory, and its co-host, Shawn Shauna something.
Oh, God. What was that?
He didn't have an aside for you, but you did it perfectly.
It was the best white man dance that I got for me from here up.
That's right. Yeah.
I just moved my eyebrows. That's how I dance.
I'm afraid of all the boys that are going to come to the yard once this milkshake starts, so we're just going to keep it right here. So.
Gotta chill. I mean, I don't know. According to this,
family show, you know.
We've got 14 people in the chat. We could always use a few more. So if you got to shake it up and come here, feel free.
Yeah.
All right. So starting today, we'll be doing a special Patreon members intro names, giving one Patreon a week a special shout out and Toy Frenzy weekly name. So a special shout out to Gem in My Eye, Emerald Nightingale. Photos, giving us the toppest quality toy photos on Instagram. He will sweep you off your feet in the flash of a camera. Today's show is brought to you by My Buddy's Customs and his faithful puppet, who will do anything he types out and will probably read, even though he should be acting it out.
Oh, shit. Are you okay?
Just gotta organize some things here, apparently.
Okay.
Just in, card arts of Origins 2000X King Randor have been shown off along with Duplico from Rulers of the Sun. Keep an eye out for pre-orders at online retailers soonish for Wave 13. After pre-orders for Wave 12, which are not even out yet. Sheesh. Thought this shit was supposed to end in April. Can't always be right, can we?
So you didn't look at the camera and pause this time, right?
Not yet. I've got time up. This is a lengthy one, guys.
That's
on to our next sponsor. Touch, feel,
What?
scratch, relief.
What?
But I've got to start practicing these out a lot more. Blushing Bobby's Toy Barn and Spa. Sign up on Patreon now for your itch relief and Bobby's longing whispers in your ears.
Oh, come on. That's a little too heavy there. I'm not whispering in anybody's ear. Maybe one.
You got to
person,
pay
but
extra
not,
for that.
else.
That's tier 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Do you like talking
50,000 a month?
Yeah, don't
right? Do you like talking about Motu or toys in general? Is your spouse or sibling you live with annoyed with your constant chatter about toys, pre-orders, customs, or the world of collecting? Sorry, Ange. Do you want a place where you can openly talk about your plastic midlife crisis? Did you know Toy Frenzy has a Discord server? It's true, we do.
Yep.
By supporting Toy Frenzy, and you can join their all-inclusive and diverse toy and media Discord, where there are a multitude of channels where you can chat about toys, customs, comics, movies, music, watch shows, and stream games for others. Patreon support give an instant access to be a part of the conversation. Be sure to check out our very own Skelevator, who is showing off his associative property art gallery display. Skelly had an interview you can view on the Central Valley Talk YouTube channel under the video. Ronald Zargarian, artist. Watch, give it a thumbs up, and support Skelly in his artistic endeavors. Be sure to subscribe to Toy Frenzy today for your weekly toy talk. Give us a like and a follow on our social medias for announcements of new shows and special guests. Back to you, Vanna. Sorry, Bobby.
Whatever that means.
Leaving you hanging a bit.
Yeah.
So, all right. I hope I did that well enough for you, buddy. I definitely, I tried to be your monkey and do as it said. I've just got to practice it out a little bit more and figure it out. So with that, guys, that brings us into the show tonight. So, well, I guess we're going to do the usual Toy Frenzy thing. We're going to say hello to the chat because it has definitely been hopping off in there since Skelly was on. Then we'll get into some weekly picks, and then we'll get into tonight's topic a little bit more.
Cool.
So, first off in the chat tonight, we have Figuratively Speaking. What's going on, buddy?
Hello.
And we also have My Buddy's Customs in the chat. Hillian Dread has joined us, and the wonderful Duchess of Darkness is here as well. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thanos Copter has jumped in as well. Gosh, I got to scroll so far. Everybody talking with each other, and yep.
Is there a
here
way
we
to
go.
do it without having to go through the chat, like the list of names or anything? Is there?
Well, I mean, like, I could actually there's no just like list of who's in the chat.
Okay, sure.
At least that I'm aware of. If somebody else knows how to do it, hint, send me a DM.
Yeah, I was just curious.
So definitely, and him saying who's ready to see Oz perform. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hope my acting chops are still fresh from drama class. All like 20 years ago now.
Mhm.
All right. Carol, Big Sis, she has joined us and is in the chat,
Hello.
ready for another Toy Frenzy. As a matter of fact, we've got Duchess and Figuratively both saying they are ready. So is it bad that I try to write the intros and ads to mess us up? But keep doing them, man.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. It gives me a laugh. And honestly, I'm hoping that as I'm laughing hysterically, the rest of you are laughing too.
Yeah. I look forward to that now every week. I think it's awesome.
Me too. I definitely think it's a great addition to the show. We really
Yeah.
appreciate you doing that for us. So thank you very much, bud. We really appreciate that. All right. So everybody's saying how they were doing. Let's see. We've got Payne's Toy Samples in the house here with us tonight as well.
Hello.
Double checking, making sure I haven't missed anybody in between. We've got Ronald Embry joining us tonight, as we saw SJ a little bit earlier in chat as well. And keeping scrolling down here, looking for it. Eldor, all the way from Eternia.
You always
Man,
makes it.
I'd hate to know what the long distance bills are like for that. Hopefully it's free, considering he uses magic and to get here and such for our shows. But we really appreciate having you here, Eldor. Thank you for being here every week. And that's for everybody too.
Yes, definitely.
You guys definitely, make it a lot of fun for us to keep doing this each and every week. We wouldn't be doing the show without you guys. So thank you all for being here.
Yep.
The Prowler has joined us all the way over from the horror narration side of YouTube, along with Duchess of Darkness joining us tonight. By the way, if you guys had not seen it, we had the return to Wicked Wednesdays last night.
Yep.
So definitely go check out Duchess's latest Wicked Wednesday for some creepy stalker stories. Really awesome.
She was also part of a collab too that she did a voice of the mother for that. I think it's called Heavy Rain. I can't remember the author about it, but that was really good too. It's a long story, but it was really, really good.
Yeah, it's a really long one, but that one is really, really neat.
Yes.
Very graphic too.
Yeah.
For some of those sequences too.
Yeah.
Just a heads up, people, but it's so good.
Yeah, all the voices, everybody did a good job on that.
Yeah, outstanding work. And Dawn Roberts has joined us once again this week. Thank you for being here, Dawn. We appreciate seeing you.
Yeah.
And welcome, to the bunch and joining us here on the weekly. And we've got JMax77 in the house as well. Good to see you here, brother.
It's amazing that everybody shows up every week. I love it.
I know. I can't believe
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Never would have thought people actually really wanted to listen to me talk about toys a whole lot, but here we are.
Yeah.
And well, it's not just about me. We're all talking about it.
Of course
it
is.
What? All right.
Teasing you.
Well, fine. Moving along then. We have Scott Baker in the chat. What's going on, Scott? Good to have you here too, brother. All right. See, look, I nailed part of it. I'm not sure which part I was at when he did this, but I nailed it.
Yeah.
Glad it met your approval there. Oh, and Sean's getting a shout out for the impromptu water spout.
See?
That's awesome. See, they pay attention. After I just spilled water all over myself.
It's getting wet and wild tonight.
Yeah, right.
See the sprinkler, and then boom, he's all wet.
Yeah, right.
It's theme night.
I spit on myself, Jesus.
So,
I guess I got a hole in my lip.
That lip piercing fallout, Bobby.
Yeah. I thought it sealed up, but I guess not. I guess I bit through it last night. I don't know.
See, this is what happens when Skelly's not here. It definitely gets a little unhinged.
Yeah, fuck it. You gotta have some swearing in here once in a while, right?
Yeah, it's always good to have a bit, as long as it's not within the first 8 seconds, because then any hopes of monetization
we should have fun like we did after the show when everybody was on that last time. We were pretending to do like that Snake Mountain After Dark shit.
Yeah.
We were having such a good time. That was so fun.
That's right. Yeah, we definitely need to do
I wish that would have been on air because everybody would have probably pissed their pants laughing because that was funny as shit, man.
Well, it's because they get the side of us that's like, trying to put it, do the show, do the talk and everything like that. And then there's the us that are off screen talking when the live broadcast isn't going. Where it's a lot.
God, that was fun.
Well, that was fun. We're gonna have to start doing a show on the Discord server for all those people who are paying. If you want to come see the extras and come hang out with us when we're not, beholden to the law of YouTube and what they'll allow us to do and what they won't allow us to do, and we'll just have a night of real grown-ass men talking about fucking toys.
Sure. See, swearing is addictive.
Wait a minute.
It sounded weird.
Are we talking about toys, or are we talking about doing things with our toys?
That's a whole
I need the comma
thing.
in there somewhere to know where we're going with this episode.
Well,
specifically point out what we need to talk about.
We're going to talk about the toys, not. I mean, I'm sure some people might be out there doing that, and that's their thing, and I'm glad they're doing it. But hey, whatever, to each their own. That's not how I play with my toys.
Those are different types of toys.
That's right. That's a whole different show.
I'm not ready for that show.
No, not me.
I just have He-Man and Skeletor. I don't have the life-size She-Ra or Teela yet. I don't know what's going on with this.
Working on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't make me spit out water again.
We're starting to tiptoe into that Snake Mountain After Dark already.
Yeah. We are. We haven't
We're
even gotten
done.
past. Well, it's almost 10 o'clock. I guess the kids are going to bed, but
yeah.
So JMac is also stating that he would like to track down that Art of He-Man book that Sean was showing off, and that's right. Brick did a bit of a walkthrough through it, and now Sean and I have our copies. We're definitely going to be talking.
You're like that guy at the wrestling show who throws up his time, but it's upside down.
Yeah, Oz, like when some of the people that hadn't met you in my group first got to know you, they thought you were from Australia. So I guess you're holding up or representing for the Australians.
That's right. My toilet swirls
it's upside down. If you're in Australia, it's right side up. You're good.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. From that land down under.
Yeah, that's why the toilet water goes backwards when it's flushed.
That's right.
In Australia.
So John's giving a shout out to the tattoos, by the way.
Thanks.
And then we're giving already SJ's giving a big shout out to Emerald Nightingale photos.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, definitely. He's got some good stuff going on his page, and he crosses all different kinds of toy lines, which is great. So, and seriously, my buddy, he was clearly he is in his element right now.
Yeah. Yep. It's awesome stuff.
And yes, he's saying we need to rehearse these. So apparently now, every Monday or every Thursday, I'm gonna have to get some practice in with Gamer Bud before I go live, just to make sure I perform these to his liking.
He's going to be your director.
All in all, apparently I got a C+.
Wow. Wow. That's
Hey,
not good.
man. That's right above average.
That's a
I've
plus.
skated by
Right?
freshman
Almost.
and sophomore year with that. I mean, yeah.
Almost a B.
All right. So I think I've gotten us just about caught up with the chat.
Cool.
By the way, John says you're a spitter.
Oh, I'm not a spitter. It just drooled out. I don't know what the fuck I did. I guess so.
Spitters are quitters, Bobby.
I'm not a quitter.
That's right. But he says we love you guys and it's so much fun. So thank you. Really appreciate that, John. I'm not going to highlight the next one. We're going to try to keep it semi-decent here.
What's that?
If you look through the chat, you'll see it. It's underneath the fact that you're...
What, my buddy's one?
No, check out what Figuratively Speaking said. Right underneath the comment that's highlighted.
Oh, shit.
Like I said, I'm not putting it up there.
You just did. Oh, no, you skipped
No,
it.
I skipped over it.
What, you mean this one?
Which brings us to the next highlighted comment from Hillian from Toy Frenzy.
You forgot I could control it, you know.
Oh man, after hours preview, Bobby takes his Mechanic. Oh whoa, maybe I shouldn't have.
Well, that one, you have to rehearse a sexy voice to read that one, I
You're
think.
saying the Mechanic?
There it is.
I'm supposed to give this one to Skelly.
You know, and that way part of it can stay out and you can just twist the wrist and then it'll
So I gotta see what he says there. I can't read that.
yeah, go ahead. You feel free to read it. So by the way, Elgin has joined us tonight as well. Good to have you here, Elgin.
Yeah.
Thank you for jumping in. Cracktastic
awesome.
Plastic coming back
Yeah.
again.
I was like, the name sounds familiar. I'm lost.
Just our guest from last week. You know.
Yeah, right.
No
Yeah,
big
it's the
deal.
guy we just talked to for 3 hours last week.
Had a great time. I'm going to be
Oh.
reaching out pretty soon so we can do probably an Nostradamus Toys Live all about the Kenner Predator and Alien.
Yeah, you were
models
mentioning
and
that
stuff
during
like
the show, so that's
So,
pretty cool.
definitely that's going to be coming up, and I'm looking forward to it because I feel like that line does not get as much love as it needs.
Yeah.
Which again is part of what we're doing here with the topic tonight. But before we get to that, who's got picks this week?
I got nothing. You talk about like new stuff?
Yeah, just anything new to come in. Anybody got
No.
anything new? I mean, Sean and I, we're part of a book club now, and I got it the
Yeah.
right way this time. Part of a book club.
This is pretty much the newest thing I've gotten in the past couple of weeks. So
But
it's been a dry couple weeks.
well,
Yeah.
it's definitely worth it. And then just yesterday, I visited my good friend Corey, who normally comes into the chat. First time I've actually been over to see him in a couple of months now. And sometime last year, he had pre-ordered the Tila and Zor 2-pack for me off of Entertainment Earth. And when it came time to come in, he had done a bit of a cross-country trip, and unfortunately, the card he used to do the payment on got compromised on the trip. And when that happened, I couldn't get my pre-orders.
Oh, wow.
And we kind of just both thought they canceled it, whatever. Well, he got a message, and the message was saying that he still had this order, and the payment method needed to be fixed. So at this time, he went ahead and fixed the payment method and everything like that. And so a bit of a late Christmas and birthday present I finally got my Tila and Zor 2-packs.
Nice.
So finally got those in, which is great because I've definitely really wanted those for a long time. And now I finally get them in, like, about 7 months after everybody else has already got them. But you know what? I don't care because I got them. And that's what matters. So I'm super excited about that. And I'll be doing a bit of an unboxing with that this weekend on my channel. So definitely, if you want to see my impressions on it and a bit of a comparison with the vintage one, I will have that on hand as well to go hand in hand with flipping the bird to 2022 as we did all did on New Year's.
Yeah.
I'm going to be flipping the bird now that it's February because we got 1 month of 2023 down, and I'm just flipping the bird at it. So, all right, guys, and just going through here and catching up with the chat again. Elgin saying that would be awesome. So we're going to connect on IG there, Elgin, and we'll get that together soon.
That'd be cool.
And Thanos says he was flipping through that book yesterday. Some great stuff in there. Well, we'll flip through it a little bit tonight, and we're going to go over and talk about that CGI He-Man, why it's important. I was discussing it a bit with Brick Something on his channel this past weekend. And Sean, this is kind of like, when you and I first met doing the show together, we talked about this CGI He-Man way back. And this is going to be like picking up that conversation and going forward with it. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys did a great job with that episode. I was salivating, like, I want to be in on this. And then I'm like, no, you guys are doing so good. I'm just going to comment from time to time. I'm good to go, But I'm happy to be here to do it again because this is one of my, favorite things to talk about when we're on Legends of Grayskull even. So, like, we champion this thing like crazy, so it's fun to be able to do it here too.
I agree. Absolutely agree. I don't think enough people are talking about how important it is that this show is successful and it has everything it needs to be, to be a successful show. I mean, really, in my mind, it is a successful show because here we are all sitting here watching it and we're about to talk into it and do a deep dive. Hillian Dread here is bringing up the fact that people are starting to get their frogmongers in hand, which is great.
Yeah,
certainly can't wait for that to come in because I've been so stupid excited for that thing since it's been teased on the boxes.
Yeah.
So I'm really pumped.
Mine shipped.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it shipped a few days ago, I think. I haven't tracked it. I don't know where it's at, but it's shipped.
All right. Well, that's good. We'll have to do another Mattel Creations Toy Frenzy unboxing when we all get ours.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It's a good tradition to carry on with here.
Yeah, right.
And my buddy's saying he hopes his is sent out soon. And Elgin has just ordered that 2-pack today from Big Bad Toy Store. It is an awesome 2-pack. I can't believe it. I really dig it. And still haven't got the ship notice for his frogmonger yet. It's all right, Thanos. You should be getting it soon. And SJ saying that the CGI He-Man sounds dope. Well, definitely. We're going to be talking about it tonight. And you should check it out on Netflix. Even if it's right after the show, go check it out. And my buddy's Customs also saying CGI He-Man is a really good show. Everyone here needs to watch it. I agree. I think it's one of those things that everybody should give it a chance. Because I know up front, not a lot of people are excited about it. And I got to admit, when I first saw the designs for He-Man, like when those first leaked images about the toy design and stuff like that had come out, before the show aired, I looked at it and I was like, I don't care for it. I really don't like the look of that. But it's more He-Man. So I'm willing to give it a shot, because again, we love Masters of the Universe. And I was like, I'm going to give it the support. And Connor might really be into it. So with the art book, again, as Brick and I were flipping through it this weekend, and I noticed a lot of the concept art, and Brick brought it up beautifully, is that they've pulled from a lot of what the modern younger audience is appealing to today. Some of these characters look like they're almost straight out of, Fortnite, with some of the skins that they have going on. Overwatch, it pulls heavily from that as well. And like, again, just going through this book here and seeing all the different concepts that they went through from start to finish, you can really see that they didn't use quite as much as how it started to where it ended.
Oh, they got like a lot of concept stuff in there first.
Yeah, there's all different types of concepts, like how they wanted Adam to look even. You know, I don't have my camera set up as nicely as Brick did for this, or where he had actually taken the pictures and done slides. But you see there on that left-hand side, those original shots of Adam don't look anything kind of like where it ended off at. He looks a lot younger. And I think that's important too, because again, with the original series Filmation, which again is something that we absolutely love and think is great, is, you know, Prince Adam didn't really look like a young guy.
Right.
He really came off as the loser 20-something-year-old that was just mooching off of his parents, you know, living the party life in college without the partying necessarily. You know, and terrible fashion sense, by the way. You know, but like in this, they really made it look like, you know, Adam was young. 2000X, the Mike Young production He-Man, they definitely touched on that too, with making Adam look much younger and much different from how He-Man looked. You know, it wasn't just like dude jumped in a pod, did a spray tan, popped out and said, yeah, I'm a hero. But I mean, mind you, we all loved that because it was great. You know, at the time when we were younger and everything like that, it was fantastic. And it's still fun to go back and watch. It's not like anything that's been brought out new now has hurt those memories that we still have.
Oh, you never hurt that.
No. I mean, I grew up watching He-Man every day of the week, and I still remember being a little kid getting really excited and grabbing whatever I could use to emulate the sword, which a lot of times was the pole from the Ghostbusters firehouse. I would pop that in place and I would hold that up because it looked like that blue swirling energy wrapped around it because it had that, you know, kind of spin thing to it. That was my sword quite frequently up until I got that electronic New Adventures He-Man sword. Even though it looked nothing like that Filmation one that I wanted, but you know, it's still good and it had the sound effects too. So what are your guys' thoughts
on the CGI show?
Yeah, Bobby.
I tried watching the first episode. I think I made it through the 1.5 episodes the first time I watched it, and I couldn't stand it. I didn't like it. It was too childish for me at the time. But then I thought about it, and I had other friends tell me that it was really good, you know, and all that stuff. So I gave it a shot, and I waited till the 3rd season came, and I watched it all the way through, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was real confusing at first because I didn't know who these characters were. You know, I was thinking, why is this one Tila, but then it ends up being the sorceress, and I didn't know that that Kronos was. I don't remember hearing his name, so I didn't know who he was. I didn't know it was going to be Trapjaw, stuff like that. I got kind of confused a little bit at first, but all in all, I thought it was fun, pretty much. That's all I can say, really. I liked it, but it was. I won't go back and rewatch it again.
Right. I can understand that. Yeah. Now, you know, it's one of those things that if you haven't seen some of the other stuff and you haven't looked at some of that more expanded lore, you'll miss some subtle hints or nods. They throw a lot of stuff in there.
Well, they do,
the extended lore that if you're just not as immersed into it, you may not realize.
Right.
Like you said, stuff with Cronus, you know.
Yeah.
People who watched the 2000X series, they saw Cronus for a brief bit, but even then he didn't have a name. It was just that guy who becomes Trapjaw kind of thing. Like you could see the elements there, but it was never expressly said.
Yeah.
In like that first episode. It wasn't until I think actually up until Classics came out that he actually got a name, I believe. I don't think they ever gave him a name in 2000X.
I want to say they did the Icons of Evil miniseries where it focused
Yeah.
on each individual henchman for Skeletor,
That's
and
right.
that was where his name was brought into the canon that way, if I remember
Okay.
right.
That is true. Yeah, I do remember
It
that.
might have been alluded to in something regarding the 2000X show, but I think that was where it was in print finally, and people knew, oh, his name was Cronus originally, um, through that book. But I could be wrong. There could be somebody that knows more lore than I do out there, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you know. But that's where I remember it from the most.
Right. And it's really cool that you bring up that miniseries because that was a very looked over series of comics and stuff like that. Like you literally saw, again, in the Mike Young cartoon, you see him as Cronus in that very first episode.
Yeah.
And then later on down the line, he's Trapjaw.
Yeah.
But how did he become this deformed, mangled Trapjaw? Like, what happened to him? And in that series of comics, you actually get to see what he did and how he ended up getting that way. I'm not going to try to spoil too much of it, but it definitely makes you see things a little bit differently.
Yeah, and then on top of it, for any comic fans and crossed over into TV series fans, that issue in particular was written by Robert Kirkman of Walking Dead fame. So
Yeah.
it's like that was him breaking, like what do they say, making his bones or whatever in the comic industry. He was taking whatever jobs leading up to becoming a writer and creating all the different Invincible, Walking Dead and whatnot. But that was where he started on some of those issues.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, again, this new series, it knows its stuff. It's not just randomly throwing things in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it chooses a great way, I think at least, to build up on what's there, but bring it into something new. And again, Bobby, I know you were talking about the, Tila and then her becoming the sorceress.
Yeah,
whereas, that really does kind of go hand in hand now, because of the different lores over time. Tila was originally going to be what's now known as the Green Goddess. When she had the armor on, she was, the goddess.
I was just confused because of the designs of the characters at first, and I was trying to figure it out when I was watching. I'm like, well, who is this? And then, it kind of confused me a little bit at first. So then when I rewatched it, it made more sense,
Right. And I totally get it too, because the designs are so vastly different from anything we've had.
I mean, I knew who Evelyn was. I saw her right away. That was easy,
Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't a very big stretch too, calling her Evelyn.
Yeah.
And then when she gets her Havoc power, she becomes Evelyn. Like, ooh, you guys really stretched it there to come up with that. But that just goes back to the whole idea of, they were really terrible at naming people in this franchise.
Yeah, it was on the nose naming back in the 80s when we were loving it like that. Yeah. But we loved it anyway. It made it fun.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, the main hero's name is basically, Man.
Yeah.
We're all like, yeah, Man.
Yeah, right.
And we're good. We're just like, yeah, all right. I'm down with that. He-Man, sure.
I remember when they introduced, because I still was with the line when they started getting into the whole powers of Grayskull and Hero and all that. And as a kid, I thought about it for maybe a couple minutes going, it's kind of weird they didn't name He-Man Hero and keep it that simple. Instead, they went with He-Man, which it made it into the whole, it was the, what was the guy's name? The guy that, Charles Atlas. And all that. So like as a kid, I remember those ads in the back of Action Comics and Justice League comic books and all that. And even as a kid, I was like, that's funny, or whatever. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna kick the sand in your face. But then, when they did Hero, I'm like, well, if they didn't want to go that route, they could have went Hero, and it would have been kind of cool that way, I guess, too. But I don't know, it kind of broke my head for like 2 seconds, and I'm like, nope, it's He-Man, I'm good to go. And then I walked away and I started playing with my toys again. So
That's right.
it's a little too on the nose when it's Hero, if you ask me, even more than He-Man. So
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely is. But yet they still did go that direction, though, didn't they?
yeah, they did. They did.
We just never actually got to see it, but that's okay. They were going there.
Yeah, very true.
And just again, going through the chat here, SJ is saying, what famous actor would you choose to play He-Man? His vote's on John Cena.
I don't like John Cena, so I would say no. I'm not a John Cena fan.
Well, you know what? That's okay, because you can't see him anyway.
Yeah. I love him. I love him as Peacemaker, and now that I've seen him as Peacemaker, I kind of don't want to see him as He-Man because Peacemaker is such a piece of garbage at times. It just makes me like his whole show is about him actually becoming a better person based on having been raised by white supremacist crazy father. But I'm like, okay, I'm good with not John Cena, but I always go to I'm that guy. I always go to Chris Hemsworth because Thor was so He-Man at times that I'm like, just put him in a freaking fur loincloth and let's just do this because the dude's built. Like there's parts in Infinity War, like when he has to forge Stormbreaker and he's like trying to hold the thing together. And then like in the theater, when I saw that on opening night, I leaned over to my friend Jesse and go, I have the power. And Jesse lost it and started laughing. I'm like, no, that's the I have the power shot right there.
Yeah, it really was.
So like him or Reacher, the actor's Alan Richardson. He was also on Smallville as Aquaman, and he's been in a few other things. He was Hawk on Titans, and that guy's huge. He's one of those. He's not the friendly He-Man. He's more like the early mini comics He-Man, where he shows up, takes care of business, kind of like grunts at you and moves along. And it's like that would kind of work for me, depending on their take on He-Man. But if you want the charisma, Hemsworth. If you want the barbarian, Richardson. So.
Yeah.
That would be a really good way to go, actually, and I'm glad you brought that up. You know, to be honest, like people can call me plain or whatever, but I think Jason Momoa might not do a bad job. I actually enjoyed his Conan. I'm not saying that it was amazing or all-inspiring like the original kind was, but it was also the original one came out at a time where it hadn't really, like, the sword and sorcery trope hadn't really been done to that extent in a movie, you know, in a big screen blockbuster. That's what part of what made Conan so amazing. Also, it was very hot in nerd culture at the time, too. When they tried to bring it out again as the remake, you know, it was before Game of Thrones had really hit and people were getting back into the sword and sorcery thing. So I don't think that Conan really got a fair shake at first. You know, it definitely led more into his conqueror aspect of the character as he was traveling around with pirates in the movie, which they never even really touched that a lot in the original Arnold movie. So
The one thing about Momoa that gets me, and this is not, I'm not saying that's a bad choice at all. I actually, in my head, the mini comics could make that work really well. The original Alcala ones, especially.
Yep.
I'm just
that's
picturing
where my mind
him
goes
in it, and I'm like, who do you put up against him as Skeletor to make Skeletor not run like a sissy every time he shows up? Because Momoa in general is a big dude, and he's also somebody that even when he's Aquaman and stuff, you get that like, what's he gonna do next? He's almost like the wild card in any given movie when you see him, and it makes you just go like, oh, he's gonna pop Skeletor's head off his neck, isn't he? Oh God, he did it, you know. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're doing Hordak next time around because Skeletor ain't coming back from that one, you know. But no, there could be a good one with him, and he's another one. He's got a charisma. He's got that he's got like the party vibe. He's got that like bro kind of vibe, but there's an element to that I've never seen in He-Man that could be kind of fun to play on. depending who you had around him in the cast.
Right. Yeah, I think it would be a really neat casting choice. He's definitely got the chops. He's got the charisma for it. But I doubt it's something we'll ever see.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for live action now, we've got this young kid. I think he's going to play an amazing Adam. I don't know what they're going to do about the He-Man aspect of it when he goes for the transformation. But speaking of news this past week, it's apparent that Anthony Mackie is going to be doing Skeletor and Keldor
Yeah, I
for
saw
the
that.
live action. What do you guys think about that? Falcon is going to be coming through and doing it. I picture him, way back in the day, Anthony Mackie starred in a little-known movie called 8 Mile with our good buddy Eminem.
Yeah.
And, he kind of got bitched out. It's very Skeletor of him.
I did see the news about that, and I actually talked to the Dooch about it, my co-host in Legends of Grayskull, and he was not having any of that news because he's flat out like, show me all the other people first. They can't just say, oh, he's in talks and expecting me to believe this. He's also somebody that goes, it'll never happen. So, it's like,
right.
He's welcome to that opinion because it is one of those things where we haven't seen much progression other than a new He-Man actor, and that's about
Right.
it. So, if they go there, I'm actually really surprised because he was never on my list of anybody that I would have pictured to be Skeletor, but I'd be really curious to see what he can do because the other thing, I've only seen him playing mostly heroes now.
Yeah.
And or like a friend of the good guy or whatever usually. So there is like it'd be kind of fun to see him get the chance to dig into a role where he is definitely the antagonist and what he can do there because he's a good hero already in the big screen and a lot. So yeah, that's a surprise. But then the other thing too is if they cast him, are they going to do the Gar thing like in 2000X? Are they going to keep him African American and just his normal skin color? Is that going to be a whole thing in how they have to cast other characters if he's going to play his uncle in this one? Or is it going to be he's not related and it's just he's Keldor? That opens up a whole nother door of questioning that it's like, okay, so where are we going with the movie at that point?
That's a very, very good bring up point of it because again, we know that Keldor is Randor's brother and he is Gar. So, he's those blue skinned people like Cyclone. And they've really, again, fleshed out that lore a lot more with the Mike Young and then going into classics, they fleshed out the whole Gar thing. It's an interesting choice to use Anthony Mackie and real world concepts with that because without doing anything, any kind of blue CGI skin tones, you can touch on the issues that the Gar people faced because one of the things that chased him out in some of the story was this hatred for these blue skin people. And now you have a real life representation of that in a real world aesthetic because we still see that kind of stuff today. As much as we hate that, but I mean, it's there. So are they going to choose to do anything more or are they going to make it more real world by not having to do anything at all? So here's a pick for Skeletor for you guys. SJ says, what about Jim Carrey?
I don't
Not
know.
my Riddler, but
Yeah.
Honestly though, again, if we're going off the CGI version of him and the way that he is laughing at all of his own jokes, and picture a very Grinch Jim Carrey, but with that yellow skull.
I think
not nice. I am not kind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he would be all right.
He wouldn't be any less goofy than
Well,
Alan Oppenheimer as
no,
Skeletor.
But I mean, if I'm trying to picture it as if this movie's going to be kind of like more serious in a way, if it's more like the Filmation, then yeah, he would be great. I think as Skeletor.
And I think that's another thing we're not really taking into effect here. There's been rumors thrown around as to how this show would be, but we've got no concrete evidence where they're going to go like, say, full, if they're going to be doing like a full kind of, okay, this is for the adults.
Right.
Or are they going to go campy and try to make it fun for the kids? We don't know what direction this is going in.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see on that.
I feel like if I saw Jim Carrey's name attached to it, it would automatically let me know where they're going with the movie.
Exactly.
And my thing with that right now is if I saw that, that would automatically have me go, well, shit. And it's nothing against Jim Carrey. It's nothing against, because honestly, my son absolutely loves those Sonic movies that came out, and they are really fun. I absolutely enjoy sitting through them every time he watches them. And Jim Carrey's Robotnik in there, and that's fine. And he actually plays a pretty good evil character in that, but he still has that Jim Carrey essence. No matter what he does, he still has that Jim Carrey. And I'm just of the mentality of 2000X showed they weren't trying to go for jokes with Skeletor. He was a force to be reckoned with on that show. I mean, they did do a little bit of it with Revelation, where he had a few moments where his skull would actually like make worried faces or whatever. But CGI, going back to the beginning of our talk, they do have comedic moments, but Skeletor in this one is a force to be reckoned with more than Filmation and some of the other versions other than 2000X, in my opinion. And I'm kind of wanting to just go legit. Let's make him not, because another thing on the internet's all the mwah stuff and all that. And it's like, that didn't even happen on the show. I'm tired of seeing that. That's not something I need a Skeletor. Skeletor should be somebody that when he shows up, you legitimately feel you're doomed. Because this, like, here's freaking Death Incarnate showing up to fight you.
Yeah.
And he's trying to steal the power of Grayskull to become more powerful. And we have He-Man between him and his quote unquote destiny and all that, like in the movie. And it's like, I want Frank Langella again. I don't want Jim Carrey necessarily for the live action. The live action should put some fear into the kids that get to watch it. But then when He-Man shows up, you're cheering him just as much as like the minute the Cap took up Mjolnir in Endgame and had to go head to head against Thanos. It's like that's the kind of stuff I want to see out of a Masters movie. And Jim Carrey would automatically have me going, He-Man's gonna be a hedgehog, isn't he? Okay, we're at that point. Okay, we're good. I know what movie we're getting into if this is the case.
Maybe we need Jack Nicholson as Skeletor.
Well, he's almost old enough to be dead. I don't know. I mean, he's quite old. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm weird like that about Skeletor. It's like I love the idea of a Skeletor that would actually not physically be on par with He-Man. He-Man should look like he's able to take on a squadron of warriors. But the minute Skeletor shows up, it's this eerie calm that makes you really, really disturbed. Like, oh shit! And the next thing you know, he's using everything dark sorcery wise against you, and you are supposed to be physically fighting him. Yeah. So I like that idea that they play that up completely with him, and he could be like if I cast Skeletor right now with just an actor in Hollywood, it'd be Willem Dafoe, because I want to see that version of Skeletor where he is sinewy and gaunt, but he knows what he's got packing in his skill set. And it's like I can hear that Green Goblin laugh that he does. And he's also like grabbing He-Man and like levitating him into a mountain or whatever. And He-Man's just like, what the hell am I supposed to do against this guy? And it's like, I don't know. That's always been my take on it because I always wanted to see Willem Dafoe as Joker. I'm like, well, if I can't get him as Joker, put him in as Skeletor at least because I love Skeletor. So,
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah. I dig this. My buddy's custom saying Willem Dafoe as Skeletor, just his voice.
I would be fine with either, but since Willem Dafoe is also somebody who he's in his 60s now,
Yeah.
if they had I wouldn't want to see even Doug Jones because Doug Jones is quite a very slender man. So just somebody who's not beefy. Somebody who's a little more like I picture it more 2000X where he looked a little more gaunt, but he still had some muscle to him or whatever. But Willem Dafoe's voice as Skeletor to me would be just like, oh, I'd be in heaven just hearing him talk shit about He-Man.
Maybe Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke wouldn't be
Hawke.
bad, especially if you've just seen him in Moon Knight too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played a pretty brilliant villain, which is pretty cool. I like how we were supposed to be talking about CGI, and now we're totally just
Off
doing
the
fan
rails.
casting for the movie.
Okay, we
I
didn't
love
promote that we were doing CGI, did we? It just says
Yeah, we
We
did.
were
Our
chatted
new
about
art
it. We
show.
showed off the book. People said they were going to go out and buy it. And now
And
I
I
feel
said the show
accomplished, and
sucked, so let's
now
go.
let's talk about a movie that may never happen, but we're hoping
Yeah.
it'll start in April.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least that's what they keep saying.
I agree with the Prowler, Frank Langella, Skeletor. When I was a kid, I was scared to death in that movie. I didn't know what he was going to do from minute to minute. And I
agree.
mean, that was special to me because like the year before that, I got to see a movie that I had no idea what I signed up for when I walked into it, which was Transformers the movie. I sat in the theater with that, had no idea Optimus is going to die, had no idea there's this Unicron
died?
planet.
No, I'm kidding.
Spoiler, sorry. but like I had no idea all these different things they were going to do in that movie. So from minute to minute, I did not know what to expect out of that. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, He-Man, we're on good place. We're in Eternia. I know this thing. I'm good to go. And then all of a sudden, he's like zapping Sauron at a moment's notice and all this other stuff. And I'm like, he won? Literally, it opens up and he's freaking won already. And I'm like,
Yeah.
my little 8-year-old brain is getting blown knowing, like, okay, Optimus doesn't have to make it to the end of a movie with the Transformers. Skeletor can win at the beginning of a He-Man movie.
Yeah.
What the heck? It's like up is down, left is right, and all that stuff. So
Dogs and cats living together.
dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. Yes, exactly.
Mass hysteria.
That's a
I gotta
quotable
get the mayor
movie.
That
on
will
this.
turn you white.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Here's another interesting one. Russell Crowe as King Randor. I could definitely see that. If you've seen Thor Love and Thunder with him as Zeus, you could totally see,
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Did I say Kurt Russell? I meant to say Russell Crowe.
Ooh, Kurt Russell.
No, I said Kurt Russell.
Kurt
That
Russell.
would be freaking cool. I never
think that
thought
would
of
be
him.
Yeah. Randor walks in, and he goes, "Ah, shit," That's how he talks all the time.
Yeah,
Kurt Russell.
Absolutely, that would be amazing. Goldie Hawn as Marlena. That would work. I'd be down
I
for that.
could. Oh my god, my kids would show up because they love those Christmas Chronicles movies. So I'd have to be like, if Santa Claus is going to be King Randor, they'd be in my car ready to go to the theater right away.
Yeah, right.
Right, they'd be there
Although it's
before
on,
you.
and then it'd be like, it's on Netflix. Get back in the house.
I know shit. No one goes to the theater anymore.
Well, we don't know because they did that. Oh god, they just recently had done a movie that was Netflix, but they released it in theaters first.
Yeah.
I was all
Yeah.
getting ready to watch it when it was supposed to release on Netflix, or so I thought, then realized it was in theaters for like 2 weeks before it came to Netflix.
Mhm.
That was really, really awesome. And now I can't even remember what it was. So I'm kind of upset about that. I like this idea of Tilda Swinton as the sorceress.
I don't know who that is.
Um,
I'm
Have
very
you seen
sad
all the
on
Marvel
pop
movies?
culture. I don't know about-
Doctor
What?
Strange.
Okay,
Did
who
you
is she
see
in
that
that?
movie?
Yeah, I see
She
that.
was the ancient one. She
Oh,
was the one that trained
the bald
Doctor
one?
Strange. The bald
Yep.
woman,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, I know who she is now. Yeah.
yeah.
See, I'm bad with names. Just bear with me on that.
So
I could. I don't know. Like Sorceress to me, I can almost picture like Kate Beckinsale playing her because of the voice.
Okay.
And again, I'm going by the voice, but it's like I can almost hear her almost like Filmation-esque Sorceress if Kate Beckinsale played her.
I agree. I think that would be a good choice too. But I also like, again, Tilda Swinton as the visualist aesthetic of the Sorceress too. Because she just has this very ethereal presence about her, like in almost everything she's done. I remember one of the first movies I recognized her in was Constantine.
Yeah.
And, you know, her playing an angel, because angels are supposed to be, you know, sexless. They're not supposed to be male or female.
Yeah.
And so like her look for the movie perfectly said that. And I just thought it was great. So the Weekend Gamer has joined in with us here, and he says, no, please, no Jim Carrey.
I'm with you on that.
So Josh Brolin as Man-at-Arms. I know earlier we also had a vote for Nick Offerman as Duncan, Man-at-Arms. We could definitely see that for sure.
Yeah, I watched that. What was that show last night? I watched
The Last of Us.
Yeah, that was a crazy episode.
That one finally got me to stop looking at him as Ron Swanson for the first time. And after watching that episode, I'm like, I really want to see him in more dramatic roles because damn, did he knock that one out of the park. And
it was depressing.
It was, but like that was a character that was introduced on that episode, and you got to see his story from the way it was presented. And by the end of that, you gave such a damn about him.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is amazing that in 1 hour of a show, you got full circle and you got to actually, like, you might have shed a tear or two for that guy by the end of it if you were invested enough, or if he got that out of you. And like, I was watching it today just going, like, Nick Offerman's the man. That guy could do.
I was already in a bad mood, and that episode.
Oh, geez,
worse mood. I was just like crushed. I was just like, "What the fuck?"
No kidding.
I can't. Why can't I watch something that uplifting tonight? And I had to watch that fucking thing. You know.
I'm just gonna. I'll be your little angel on your shoulder and go. If you're in a bad mood, do not watch The Last of Us ever. If you see anything with "last" in the title, you don't want to go there when you're in a bad mood. It's probably.
I mean, just that whole
Last Unicorn.
That whole story. Like, oh, that really got me. Yeah, that was tough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, The Last of Us that you guys are talking about, is that the one that's based off the video game?
Yeah. You think a video game show wouldn't do that, but man, that really.
You never played that game.
It split me in half last night. It was pretty tough.
That game has to be one of the most, and again, this coming from my past of being a video gamer and working at GameStop for so long, working around the launch of The Last of Us, that was one of my most anticipated games that I waited for. And speaking with our Sony rep at the time, Chris, he was an amazing guy. He knows I was a big Xbox fan, and he was like, you are gonna love The Last of Us, because there were a lot of PlayStation exclusive games that I absolutely adored, but that was all I was really playing on it. For the most part, I was playing everything on my Xbox. And The Last of Us, just everything that went into that game was incredible. So when I heard they were finally making a series off of it, if they put as much passion into that series as they did that game, I knew it was going to be incredible. And I've heard nothing but great things, but I have yet to watch it myself.
It is a good show.
Mm-hmm.
The third episode, like I said, that one's a tough one to get through. So don't go in it if you're like in a bad mood.
I will remember.
It'll tear you apart, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get emotional about anything I watch, and I was a mess after that. That was rough.
Yeah, that one, like, there's a lot on social media where they're like, people are calling that particular episode out of the 3 so far as a masterpiece, and I truly can't see that's a bad thing. And I watching it today, I'm like, no, this show in 1 hour managed to tell an entire story that made me go, holy crap, I feel like I did a journey just in this one episode.
Yep.
And I honestly, there's a part of me going, I don't need to watch it anymore. I'm just going to stop watching it because I'm good. That was the end of the show.
Yeah,
for
right.
me.
Yeah.
But then it's like, no, but there's still Joel and Ellie doing their
Yeah,
stuff. We got to
yeah.
find out what happens next. So
Yeah, the next episode shouldn't be as rough like that.
Yeah.
I don't believe. If they do that, I'm gonna stop watching it.
they do that every single week.
Yeah,
It's like I'm getting
like,
ripped apart. I can't
You're
handle it.
supposed to watch something and be entertained, not be like, now I gotta go to bed and sleep thinking about that shit.
Cry myself to sleep at night.
Yeah, right.
I do that already. It's okay.
I was gonna say it's nothing new. I go grab a half-gallon of ice cream, big spoon, and I cry myself to sleep in a puddle of tears, looking at my toys like, at least I have you.
I've been doing that for this week, man. It's been a rough week.
Life gets tough sometimes, guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I usually don't show myself my emotion. That's why I'm in a funky mood tonight. But yeah, as
Well,
you can tell.
We're here to bring it all out and have fun. You know,
Yep.
the show gets a little real from time to time, folks.
Yeah.
You know, just remember.
It started out with me spitting all over myself. And
being the
let's
spray from
move
Sean
on.
Sprinkler.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So we've got thinking about a bony face. What about Jared Leto as Skeletor?
I don't
That
like
could work.
Jared Leto. I'm not a
Yeah,
fan
but
of
that'd be
him.
great if you watched him lose and possibly die, right?
Yeah, but I mean, still, it's Skeletor.
That's true. You want it to be somebody good. My sister had mentioned bringing in Johnny Depp. That wouldn't be neat. Lena
As what?
Headey as Evelyn.
I was thinking
Lena
of her
Headey
as the
is-
sort, or not Lena. Yeah, I'm thinking of somebody else as the sorceress. Never mind. Yeah, Lena Headey's.
Yeah,
cool.
Lena's
Yeah,
like
she'd be good. Yeah,
number one with a bullet for me on
Yep.
Evelyn.
yeah, she'd be real good.
Yeah, I think she's at pretty much at the top of everybody's list.
Ever
And
since
she got the
300.
player already.
Yeah,
voice.
exactly.
Yeah,
She's already
right. Yeah,
done the voice.
yeah, I forgot
so-
about that.
Yeah.
All right. So Julianne Moore as Queen Marlena. Hey, that's not a bad choice. She's already
Yeah.
got the look. Yeah, I can
Mhm.
see that.
I think
Brick
that's it.
something. He's joined in.
He-Man the Hedgehog. Oh, I went there. That's
We're gonna
my
have
problem.
to see a custom of this figure now. Somebody out there make He-Man the Hedgehog, please.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
And unfortunately, the Weekend Gamer mentioning the fact that Jack Nicholson is retired. Yeah, but we were
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
bringing Frank Langella back. So
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah, he
I was just saying
retired,
as a scenario, you know.
yeah, I
It'd
think
be
it'd be
fun.
great. And loving the casting for Skeletor, absolutely. And Defoe would be good. So this must have been around that time when I was chatting that up. And Tom Hardy or Tom Middleston as Skeletor.
I could see Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
And that one
Yeah.
I could be completely fine with because I mean what he pulls off playing Loki, he could do it even darker with that. It would be really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of room there to go dark, and he
Yeah.
could do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely.
Plus, also, again, with the dynamic of, even if, again, just saying, Helmsworth as Skeletor, who better than to actually have Tom Hiddleston as his arch nemesis? Because they're already doing that, right?
The only problem with that to me is then there would be the people who like Thor going, "Oh, we're doing this again," or
Yeah.
there would be those people who are going to do that, and there'd be a part of me going, "I just want to have the best person in the role to make me enjoy the story and enjoy the movie." But yeah, if they went there with, okay, now it's Loki versus Thor again, but now it's Skeletor and He-Man, I'd be like, sure, why not? But I'm sure there's going to be a fan outcry somewhere about that.
Oh, there always will be. Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. You're never going to appease all the fans. So people are definitely going to, they're going to want who they're going to want, and nothing's going to do it for them until they get what they want. And it may never happen. And that's very unfortunate that they just can't roll and enjoy something. Even if it's not what they wanted, just enjoy it for what it is. And again,
Well,
that
that's a
brings
good
me back to
segue.
that CGI topic.
Yeah. See.
Is that the new He-Man that everybody wanted? No.
No.
But
No.
you can fully enjoy it for what it is. And the more it catches on and the more it catches with the younger audience, what does that mean for us? You know, we're going to see more He-Man because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what we're looking for. We want more He-Man. We want this thing to stay around. It's almost died out completely so many times.
Mm-hmm.
And if at key points certain players hadn't been there to keep the torch running, we wouldn't be having the amazing thing that we're having now. Like just this past week, a whole bunch of stuff got leaked. And you never know whether it's like going to be for real or not. I mean, again, here, speaking of the leaks, talking about CGI Skeletor as one of those figures listed in the leaks for Origins.
It wasn't. I didn't see the leaks, so I didn't.
I saw a couple of them. May have tried to rush on a deep discount and pre-order Point Dread before it was all gone.
Is it gone?
I don't know. I haven't looked, but
Oh.
deep discount had Point Dread with Talon Fighter, so somebody had to pre-order it.
I got mine right there. I don't need the Origins.
Get the beautiful vintage. There's nothing wrong with
right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited that stuff like that is coming out, and it did get confirmed. For those of you that watch Geek Dad Life, Jay's over in Germany right now at their toy fair, and he was checking out all the booths. And although he can't take pictures because they're not allowing that, he was able to see a lot of the stuff that had been leaked with those postings from Deep Discount. And he's seen it, and he says a lot of that is coming within this year.
Yeah.
Like that Point Dread and Talon Fighter, it's done and complete. He also talked about Snake Mountain, and he said the Snake Mountain that we saw revealed a couple months ago is a lot more polished and there's a lot more finish to it than what was originally shown off.
Yeah.
You know, so he said that thing is looking amazing, and I'm excited because that's going to be coming out at the end of the year.
Yeah, because that Snake Mountain they showed, that was kind of ugly. in my honest opinion.
It was, but that's why I'm glad they were very upfront. Like, this is a very early working prototype.
Right.
This is not a final.
And I kind of figured that as well. You know.
Yeah. They didn't even know they were showing it off that day until they were running it out. Like, here, we're going to show this today.
Yeah.
You kind of love it when they do stuff like that to their own people. Like, you've got this whole thing planned out. Yeah, squeeze 10 minutes in about this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're going to drop Snake Mountain and we're only going to be able to talk about it for 10 minutes. They go, what are you going to say? There ain't much to it right now.
Yeah.
And then kudos to Skelly because he he kind of figured out about, like, he was looking and saw the placement of the snake.
Yeah, I saw that
how
video.
it was supposed to be wrapped and stuff like that. You know, he kind of figured that out. That was pretty neat. And like, I really can't wait to see how this is going to look when it all comes out.
It's going to look like
that. It'll look close to it, though. It'll just look a bit bigger with some other.
You think it's going to be bigger?
Yeah, well, with the stuff that they added to the Wolf Door side,
I guess so. Yeah, the spire
coming up a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to make it look more mountainous, which, I mean, I think we all kind of want. You know,
yeah,
like, we love that vintage and the callbacks to it, but it's nice when they can, you know, honor that and then improve on it in little ways, which is kind of how I felt they did Grayskull. It's kind of how I felt they've done a lot of things so far. They're honoring the vintage as well as giving us just a little bit more in a lot of ways, which I think is important.
Yeah, definitely.
So, again, spoilers. Optimus Prime dying was disturbing to me as a child. It got a lot of us. It definitely got a lot of us. Having the Crypt Keeper fellow for Skeletor, that'd be good. Keith David looks just like him. I mean, oh wait,
who's Keith David?
No, I'm joking. Keith David. I was actually thinking Davidson, but Keith David is actually, he was the voice of Spawn on HBO, and he starred in They Live with Rowdy Piper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I told you I'm bad with names. I have no idea.
That's okay. I got him
stuff,
completely confused there for a second, but
I forget.
I like that choice. He'd be a really good voice of.
Yeah,
he would definitely make me scared of him. Why not a little callback with Dolph as Randor? That'd be good. And glad to have you here tonight, Emerald Knight Photos. You got a call out in the very beginning of the show. Thank you again, Gamer Bud. I don't know what was wrong with me, but as a kid, I loved that Prime died. I was into the whole passing the torch thing and the stakes. Very interesting spin and very mature of you, because I don't think most of us got that idea until we were older.
What year did that movie come out?
86.
86.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see it at that time. I had the video, but I didn't see it at the theater or nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Netflix. Go ahead, Sean.
No, just going back to that, like when I was a kid, the idea of passing something on to somebody else like that, and the idea that, you know, even if someone or something you love dies, life still carries on. And especially the way it was shown in that movie, where we just lost our leader and now we're freaking under attack again. And like through that whole movie, it's like a cat and mouse game with the Autobots constantly trying to evade the Decepticons. So like as a kid, I was on the edge of my seat going, they lost Prime. What are they going to do? Oh, we got Ultra Magnus, the shittiest leader of the Autobots. Awesome. Let's see what happens.
Well, we saw how that worked out, and he lived up to that title.
Exactly. The light our darkest hour moment was, I'm getting shot at. This is my worst day ever. Hey, somebody open
Why
the
isn't this working?
So, yeah.
Yeah, and the whole thing is how do we sell the new toys? Let's change the movie and kill off the other guys and put the new ones in.
When I found that out as an adult, I'm like, oh, I completely see what they did there.
Yeah,
but as a kid, you're just like, man, like that's the equivalent of like seeing freaking Man-at-Arms take a like gut shot in the middle of something. Yeah. You're just like, holy crap, Skeletor knows how to shoot now. They never did that before, you know.
See, and that's how I felt with that Star Wars movie with Han Solo dying.
Yeah,
I know Harrison Ford always wanted Han Solo to be killed off and stuff like that. I knew that, but I never wanted to see it.
Neither did I.
And then when I watched the movie, and I was like, he's gonna fucking kill him in this scene. I know it, and they did, and I was kind of destroyed seeing like my childhood hero, you know, just killed by his own kid. You know, it's just awful. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all.
Patricide's never a fun time.
I like how coolly you say that. You're just like, oh, patricide sucks.
Yeah.
Hey, let's face it. I was definitely not a big fan of, you know, again, like Bobby, you know, he's said it for years. He's always said that he wanted him to die off.
And so he didn't have to play him anymore. You know?
Right. There would have been no question about, or are we going to see him come back? Are we going to see him come back? So
what does he fucking do? He goes in and he becomes like Han Solo's ghost in the next movie. It didn't work for him. It was so stupid.
Well, yeah, you know, just is. But
yeah,
I mean, and who knows what's going to happen from here? Who knows what they're going to keep and what they're going to get rid of? But
yeah,
what's Star Wars? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as thrilling to me anymore. The shows are great though on Disney Plus.
Well, Mandalorian is awesome. I like
Mandalorian's great. I really enjoyed Book of Boba Fett. I know a lot of people didn't, but
I did not. Because to me, he's always been dead since I've seen him die in the theater. You know, so
yeah.
Now I'm an adult, and here he is. He gets out. It was weird.
Well, he made it out in the comic books for me, and that made.
See, I never read them. I never read the expanded versions of anything. I don't get into that stuff. So
yeah, I was a big fan of the comics for that, and again, that's another upcoming episode of Ashrama's Toys Live. We're going to talk about some early '90s Star Wars hype before the special editions.
Plug again.
Yeah, you know what I do.
All he does is he uses this show to plug his own.
I do that, and I plug everybody else's too.
I'm just teasing you.
That's what I do. I'm a shameless promoter.
That's right. So anybody, if you want to follow me, no, okay.
Definitely go check out, Bobby at Vintage Motu, and eventually we will have Snake Mountain After Dark, as well as you can follow us on Powers of Eternia.
Yeah, which is all on hiatus for now.
Yes, for a while it's going on hiatus, but we will return. We've still got like 6 more episodes to go on Toys of Skeletor.
Yeah. And I apologize for that, but it's just
No. No need to apologize at all, man. We are good there, brother. Gives people a chance to catch up on the previous 3 episodes if they haven't checked it out yet. Power of Eternia. All right. And Brick something was asking if he missed the Look at Skelly's art show. It certainly was at the beginning of the show there, Brick. It was really cool to get a walkthrough with him. He also said, like last time, he's going to do a much slower walkthrough of it and get more detailed images as he's going through the gallery himself. So
it was good stuff too.
Oh man, it's so good just seeing his actual, Skelly expresses his artistic side in just about everything he does.
Yeah.
And you see it in the effort he puts into his toy displays, into the dioramas he makes. And he shared some of that on his channel. But it was really awesome to see his collected works all in one area, at least, what he had for the show. And just getting that little more of that look inside his creativity, and it's beautiful. And the best part about it is, because it's abstract, what you're getting from it is something completely different from what I'm getting from it. And that's the beauty of abstract art. It's really amazing. So more people here talking about those leaks of Point Dread and such here. Snake Mountain and Point Dread Talon Fighter pre-order on deep discount. He's checking out to see if it's still there for anybody who.
What are the other leaks though? I don't know what was mentioned. I haven't kept up on it.
If that's the case here, let me go ahead and bring it up. You guys, while I'm doing that, you guys keep talking and monitoring the chat, and I'll go and get that brought up.
No, I was just asking you to go through all that for that. I don't even know where you left off on the chat, man. I'm like at the bottom.
I left off here.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see where it's at.
Oh, did I miss the Skelly art show? Yes, Brick. Yeah.
Trying to keep up with it, but everybody's so on fire tonight in that chat.
I know.
I mean, that's what happens when you get us all hopped up on shit.
Well, Buddy, he says he has all the leaks on Discord.
Okay, yeah, he does. He did put a lot of that there.
I'll take a look at them. It's no big deal.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I was just curious if you knew off the top of your head. Yeah.
Well, we've got Snake Tila coming out. That is definitely confirmed. Jay said that she will be out. But again, they're just showing these off. There's no saying whether it's going to be in retail, whether it might be Mattel Creations exclusive.
Right.
Again, up until Mattel comes out and actually announces publicly where they're going, or maybe they're giving that info throughout Toy Fair this week in Germany, and then maybe we'll see it again come Toy Fair here in what it should be like this month or next month going into New York.
Yeah, it's usually in February, I believe, right?
It's always in February. So
so we're in February now.
Okay. Sadly, Point Dread is sold out, but CGI Grayskull is $46 on deep discount. Just to let everybody know, it's a great deal.
Yeah, that was expensive, wasn't it? It was like $300.
Yeah, it was $100. It was more than $100.
Okay.
Well, like I think originally it was like 120, and then it quickly went down to like 100, and it stayed at that for a while. I don't know why I thought
300. It's too much.
No, not that one.
Yeah.
It's because you're looking at that sexy beast behind Sean, and God, it's
that one almost cost me sleeping in the house for about a year. So yeah.
Wow. Know that feeling.
Yeah. The if looks could kill moment of my life. It's like, oh God, thank God you're not Cyclops.
Right?
Yeah.
Through you.
Exactly.
I have had that look this week.
So it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Captain Biscuit 71 in the house saying Boba lives. That's right. He supports it. And glad to have you here, by the way, Captain Biscuit 71. Good to see you in the chat. More comments. Patch side is never a fun time. Glad I could amuse you all with something so dark, but yeah, like we said, that's that dark humor that I have.
Yeah.
Straight face.
It goes
just
along
on
with your
everything.
skulls and bones in your basement. You said you collect. Right?
It's true. They're there. They're there. I actually got. Nope, I must have taken it outside. I was going to say I've got a hip over here somewhere. But...
Oh, it's Jesus.
Found it
It's
when
Walter.
I was walking through the woods. All right. So again,
We were talking about the Burbs earlier, so I don't know.
Yep.
If you
Yeah.
like that joke.
I got it.
Yeah, no, I know.
I still love that part when they're screaming and the camera keeps zooming in and out. That's like one of my absolute favorite moments of that entire movie.
Yeah, I love it. Oh shit! You kept that in your trousers all day.
We're gonna have to do like a movie channel or something where we can just talk.
You know, I could talk about the Burbs all night, man. It's a funny movie.
We'll have to work something out for that. Maybe we'll do a show on one of the channels.
Yeah,
Once just talk of classic movie from like our childhood growing up that
Yep.
you know we
That would
probably
definitely
shouldn't
be
have
fun.
watched as a kid either.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
So yeah, there we go. Getting some more of the layout of the what's to come this year, especially in the Rise of the Snake Man. You know, it's very possible that this 4 right here could be that Snake 4-pack that they were talking about.
It's
Snake
possible.
Tila, Man
What's
at
Man at
Arms.
Arms silver armor? What does that mean? I don't remember him in silver.
He had a snake armor
Oh, the
variant
snake armor.
in the
one. Oh,
2000 X line. I think that
Yeah.
might be it.
probably
maybe.
go with the Snake Men stuff. Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, Scott Baker saying he thinks the Toy Fair got moved to September this year, but he
Really?
could be. All right.
Hmm.
We love you too, Captain Biscuit. Thank you. And yes, indeed, finding interesting with retail Grizzlore, shall we say, with regards to the Origins Grizzlore. And I got to agree. So we all know now that Grizzlore is going to be coming out Masterverse style.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, again, just going to assume it's going under the Princess of Power subline that they have going for Masterverse, since you know
Possible.
we've had Hordak, Katra, She-Ra within that line. So just going to assume that going into that Grizzlore in Masterverse is going to be that version, unless maybe it's going to be part of the launch for Revolution. But
You think he's going to be like the new Eternia Beastman, like that big?
he may be. I mean, that would be impressive.
Yeah.
And well, apparently the Whiplash that's coming in Masterverse is going to be about as big as Too Bad or bigger.
Oh, really? So it's kind of like
Jay
the
was talking about it.
2000X
He's
type version.
huge. Yeah, he's going to be huge. So I'm really excited about that. And it is supposed to be a new Eternia Whiplash.
Oh, okay.
So we're not getting a lot of people were speculating it might have been the Revelations version, but he said it's going to be new Eternia.
Yeah,
Whiplash.
that
I'm
would
really excited.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, he said even though it was leaked, they did not show the new Eternia buzz off. So that's going to be impressive, really impressive.
Yeah.
So back to some Star Wars talk here. Brick Something says his son was Kylo Ren one year for Halloween, and we had the fun with the "Don't kill me, kid" jokes. Patricide kid.
That's funny.
You say that until he's like in his late teens, still saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I went as a stormtrooper once as a kid, but that was one of those old, masks with rubber band shit.
Yeah,
and the big
yeah.
vinyl sheet thing. Yeah.
That was like my first Darth Vader. It was like that. And then my upgraded version where I had the rubber mask, not quite the Don Post mask, but had that version of it.
Yep.
I thought it was so cool because it came with that cheap dinky flashlight lightsaber. And then 2 years later, they had the actual lightsabers hit retail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the ones with the like wiffle bats where they make noise with the air going through them.
Yeah. Man, those were fun.
Yeah, yeah, we used to beat the hell out of each other with those when I was a kid.
Oh, and they hurt too.
Yeah, because
they
were stiff.
Well, and you had the holes in them too, so they didn't get much wind resistance as like an actual big fat bat would.
They just whistle woo, woo, like
Man,
that.
the imprint that would leave behind.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them. One of those things where we'd go and be split up on teams, and we'd run around in the alleys and stuff, and whip each other with hoses and wiffle bats and lightsabers. It was a lot of fun.
It's different time, kids. Different time.
If you got hit, you're out. You die. So you had to go sit on the porch while all of us are running around. So the poor kid that got hit first is sitting there for like an hour waiting for everybody else to die.
Well, and when when the other kid was trying to hide and sneak up on the other guy, that's when you gave him away. You were like,
I'll tell you one thing, man. We played once, and we were playing like Army or something, and I hid behind. I had a little house that I had built, like a log cabin house, and I'd hide back there. It was right against my home, and this is Chicago, so these are these big old homes in the neighborhood, And my friend came up to the alley, and it was into my neighbor's yard. And I could see him, and it's dark. He couldn't even see me sitting there. And he's like peeking around to go through the gangway. And I'm like I shot him. Scared him so bad that he flew backwards and landed on his back. It was like I actually really shot him. Oh man, he almost shit his pants. It's like he scared the hell out of me because he was looking too where I was. It was kind of dark out, So he's like trying to look through my fence, and he's like he couldn't tell if it was me because I was just sitting there stiff. And then I finally like boom, 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 like that. And, oh man, it frightened him so bad. I bet you he crapped his pants, man. Yeah, scared the shit out of him.
So, giving a shout out to Weekend Gamer here, saying really enjoying the stream tonight. First time watching live. You just turned into yourself.
Awesome.
This is a little bit more unhinged than what we normally do, but
yeah, this is a little different. Yeah. We're a lot more funny,
Our gallery, so we're left under Sean's supervision, and
yep.
I don't care. Don't burn the house.
It's basically it's like when my wife comes home from work and they're in with the two kids going, they did it, and I walk away.
Yeah, no kidding. Who made that mess? I didn't spill the grape juice on the couch.
Are we gonna get pizza?
Yeah.
That's my wife's question, actually. Yeah. It's like all this craziness. I'm hungry. Are we doing pizza or burgers? Okay, whatever.
Why is there hot dogs in the Vicks Vapor Rub?
Hot dogs in the Vicks Vapor Rub. What kind of party were you having?
Something about the mashed potatoes probably were next then.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be that kind of party. I would have stuck my junk in the mashed potatoes.
What kind of dip is this?
Fun dip.
Oh, man.
Thank you. I needed that laugh, man.
Oh, shit.
What?
Cool Uncle Sean in charge, yeah.
Yeah.
Sugar them up and watch them fall one by one.
That's it right there.
Yeah, all right, I'm good.
My work here is done. Back out
exactly.
Slowly.
It just all the lights start slowly going down, and I'm backing out. Yeah. If I could pull that off right now, that would be amazing.
That would.
Unfortunately, I'm not that skilled because they're all over the place.
We'll rig it up. We'll rig it up. When I come up there later this year or something like that, we'll get it rigged.
Sounds good.
It's funny. That was good stuff. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Glad we could help. So,
I was thinking of something. I wanted to say something else, but I was like, I'll let it.
Do it. No. Unhinged. Come on.
No, it's all right.
Just off the cuff with it.
Nope, I already forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's all blaming on me.
Yeah.
Sean just stuck his dick in the mashed potatoes once, and all of a sudden everything goes to hell.
Jesus.
There's hot dogs in the microwave. What the hell's a Vicks Vapor doing now? You finger painted the cat. What the hell is happening in this place?
Why is the toilet paper in the freezer?
Exactly.
Who put all these ice cubes in the toilet? Don't put ice cubes.
And there's my son peeing on them to see how long it takes them to melt. Yeah.
You guys talk about me being drunk, and you guys,
that's a typical Tuesday evening. Actually, what am I talking about?
Just Tuesday.
Just Tuesday. That's just a Tuesday.
We liven it up a little on Wednesdays. We dress up for company and all that stuff. Yeah. We get fancy.
I'm out in my whitey tighties and a bow tie.
Oh, man.
That's exactly how I handle it, actually. Get that bow tie, the tighty whities. Nobody shows up again, but at least you had friends for 10 seconds.
Then he's doing his little shaker dance.
We have completely lost the plot at this point, folks.
That's all right, man. This is a one and all show for today.
But we're just having fun with it, because hey, we've all had some rough times and some rough weeks, and man, it's good just to cut it out and let loose. You got to sometimes. You really got to.
Is that cottage cheese?
As of right now, Brick's watching, just going, I did some freaking Oscar or Academy Award level broadcasting this past weekend with that art book, and you guys got nothing on what I did.
That's right.
I'll just put the link in the description for Brick's video. If you were really hoping for more talk about that book, go back and watch that. We've lost it.
I can get back on task again. I could. It's just I feel bad.
It's probably because I killed the conversation by saying the show was okay, and it was about all I cared about. So it's like, all right, let's talk about something else. Here we are talking about putting things in mashed potatoes.
Having some fun with the Vicks.
That one was like, where the hell did that one come from? What happened?
Is that how you lose the stick in the corn dog?
Everybody's in the bathroom and it's waiting.
Magic marker in his hand. Mochi scribbles over the walls, mirrors Skeletor's face on the toilet seat, and Oz covered in marker. Sean is like, Bobby did it.
Yeah, blame me for everything. Shit.
Bobby did. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm watching CGI He-Man. Everything else is happening around me. I'm being a very responsible adult, minding my own business. But your Uncle Sean, I'm kind of like Uncle Jesse of Full House. Do you notice that he didn't have his shit together either?
He says, all good. Right when you mentioned the mashed potatoes, I said out loud, if I'd have known it was going to be that kind of party.
See, he knows. He knows. That's the quote.
Nice and
I'm
warm.
gonna lie, this is the best off the rails episode yet. But just you wait. We've got more to come at some point, I'm sure.
I can cut loose if you want me to.
If Skelly just doesn't say, all right, guys, you're never hosting on my channel again.
Yeah, he's gonna make sure he's
all of a sudden
from now on.
It's like, wait, I don't get invited back.
Yeah, right.
So, like, I can't leave you guys alone.
I can't has toy frenzy.
You can always has toy frenzy.
Oh man,
What was that
This
about?
is not for kids.
Cherries, the cherries and the Hershey syrup. What were you saying about that?
This is the second time this week I've thought about some Hershey syrup and cherries. Some, peanut butter ice cream, maybe. I don't know. Things are getting weird.
Oh my god.
Beastie Boys got that ill communication, baby. Bobby is pressing his bare buns on the window to make an imprint, and both Sean and Oz are next to him pressing their bald heads to make butts on the window.
My ear. What?
And then that makes me think of that line from Cool Runnings, but why did I draw a line down the middle of your head so it looks like a butt?
Oh man.
yeah, He-Man.
I can handle it. I can handle it. I can do it. I can hear it. End scene. Okay.
Right. Back to the real shit, guys.
All right. Yeah. Now that we got all the giggles out.
Right.
There'll still be some, I'm sure, but yeah. Oh man.
See, that's what we were talking about earlier. Remember about the Snake Mountain After Dark? We were all goofing off, and I wish everybody.
Everybody gets to see it tonight.
Yeah.
Well, this is just a small sampling
that was small,
of it, because
that night was. That was funny, man. God damn it. That was hilarious.
We were really going off the rails.
I mean, we were just making each other laugh so hard. That was good. That was fun.
I think, if we were recording that, I mean, it's a shame when you do a live broadcast that you can't, when you're in the back green room, just start hitting record for whatever reason. Because it'd be perfect for, again, like Patreon, like come check us out after we go off live.
Yeah, we gotta do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, this is that kind of content that we definitely want to bring in a more exclusive manner, and we'll have to set some kind of show up for that.
There you go. We had a teaser.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're just teasing y'all. You know you like it.
Cool Uncle Sean at Snake Mountain.
Well,
I'll bring the Vicks.
I'm bringing the hot dogs
and the Cheez-Its.
How'd you get the Franks over the beans? How'd you get the beans over the Franks?
Everybody coming in after that point. Oh, God.
I just see Too Bad being the one that you'd be yelling at that for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Make sure you warm up the Hot Pockets.
Well, yeah, because nobody wants to go in cold.
No, it doesn't feel good cold.
Not nearly as fun.
I have way too many Jason Biggs images in my head now with that one.
Yeah. Well,
American Pie.
I think the Prowler mentioned that with the pie with the hole in it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Where was it? Gotta love that warm apple pie.
The warm apple pie.
Oh, that was a good movie.
That gets way too many men in trouble, actually. That's why we like our toys. They keep us out of trouble.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
The pie will stain you for a little while, I guess. So
yeah.
You can't hide that.
If it hadn't cooled down for a bit, it's certainly going to burn.
I mean, stain. Like it'll leave the blueberries.
All right, Papa Smurf.
It's cold outside.
That's it. It's cold out there. It was cold. So now you know, Bobby, have some mashed potatoes ready when you're sitting down to watch The Last of Us.
No, it's all right.
Get that quick pick me up.
I don't stick it in nothing.
Quick, Sean, do the sprinkler. Bobby, do the effects. We do practical effects here, folks. None of that CGI bullshit.
Truffle shuffle.
We got truffle shuffle.
Hey, you guys.
Goonies never say die.
Actually, at Legion's Con, that's how I averted having to wrestle somebody who is as big as Captain America and as hairy as Chewbacca. So it all works out in the end if you truffle shuffle, apparently.
That's right. Rick got it. The shuffle.
all for the rocky road. I love how we're just making each other laugh like we don't fucking give a shit.
I mean, at least I'm trying to keep up with the chat. I've lost all 5 communication skills in this. Skelly, we're going to get over 1,000 subscribers with this ridiculous stream.
I hope everybody else is laughing with us, man. That's what it's for.
I certainly hope so. If they're not laughing with us, I hope they're at least laughing at us. Look at these idiots.
Look at these fucking morons.
That's right, everybody.
We're all we're talking about is fucking shit.
Mashed potatoes and things.
Warm apple pie.
Warm apple pie.
Oh, shit.
Well, I was gonna say, I know Master Versal said earlier we've had him in stitches all night. And my buddy's Customs is dying. That's right, guys.
Oh,
look, Truffle Shuffle, that is worth a super chat. We need to set up super chats on here for sure. Have Sean come back. Super chats for Truffle Shuffles.
It was just like I was watching the kids in the hall yesterday, and they had that famous line where it's like, you don't know if it's a shit or fart, but you let it rip anyway. I mean, that's what we're doing right now.
Never trust a fart. Never trust them.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
No, I haven't laughed like this in a while.
I needed it. I really did. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. I love it. I could do a show like this every day. This would be fun.
Right, I'm down for it.
I would have a 20-pack of abs if I did this every day of my life. Oh my god! My truffle shuffle would turn into an OnlyFans moment because you'd be like, "Oh,
you could wash your clothes on your stomach."
Save that for all the moms out there. Mom toy collector. Right now, I'm lucky if
hot dogs and vapor rub cost you extra.
Well.
That's what you get if you sign up for Bobby's Patreon every subscriber.
Yep. Hot dogs and vapor rub. And you'll figure out what the hell is that smell.
Guys, right now, tell all your friends. Come check out these three old dudes.
What is that? It's like that SNL. What the hell is that?
Sweaty balls. We're just giving Gamer Bud plenty of more content for next week.
Oh, God. The Patrick side isn't a cool thing. And then what the hell is that smell? I don't know. It's like talking about killing your children, which is the actual winner of the night for that one. Oh my god!
And I trust this is water, is not vodka.
I'm still sober. This is just my coffee, I promise.
That's good. It's fun to laugh. It's good.
It is, man. It's the best medicine.
Oh shit, that's funny stuff, man.
And Prowler's mentioned, because I did say never trust a fart. No, that's the number one rule to follow in life. Never trust a fart.
You mess up shorts.
So at least you've graduated from being the co-host of Classics Master Classics Grayskull.
I'm gonna tell Matt that's how he has to introduce me every episode from now on. Sean, washboarding your heart, Skvarna.
That's awesome.
I'll truffle shuffle on there and just be like, yeah.
Within a couple weeks, you'll be mid truffle shuffle, and they'll just go boom, into a 6-pack.
That'll be. I'm like, I'm so glad we're recording this because I wouldn't believe it myself.
Hey man, that's right.
It went from one big flab to 6 little bitty flabs. This is amazing.
6-pack abs. I got
They're still lit. Hold on.
I look like one of those pregnant dogs.
Yeah.
You sit there and you think like it. The layout of the 6-pack abs look kind of like hot dog buns or hamburger buns, and then mine are just going to look like hot dog buns going down.
Well, when I sit, mine are like hot dog buns. It's kind of like, what the hell are they on the interstate? The speed things. It's like, yep, that would be me. So.
Next week we're out and have to have a hot dog during the show.
We're gonna have to start giving them out. We'll make a new logo with a hot dog included in some paper.
Yeah, right. Hot dog frenzy.
He-Man holding a hot dog.
That's definitely an OnlyFans show.
By the power of hot dog, I brought the vapor rub.
was gonna say you gotta hold it up and be like, by the power of Oscar Mayer.
by the power of Kunstler Hot Dog. They are not a sponsor, unfortunately, but that we would be considering that. You know?
Hey, that's right.
You have to be Vienna beef.
There you go. All beef.
The beginning of every episode, it's a different hot dog company that you start announcing.
Yeah,
That's right.
We'll get
You guys, I know you're out there watching. Start sponsoring the show. We'll advertise your hot dogs. And again, channel gets endorsed by Vapor Rub. Come on, Vic. We're
Skelly
waiting.
Vader gets all these emails. Why does Vapor Rub want to sponsor Toy Friend? And we just all sit there like, I
have no
don't
idea.
know. No idea.
No clue,
Could have
buddy.
been that last episode. No.
Whatever you do, do not watch last night's Frenzy.
All of a sudden he starts blowing up my messenger. I'm like, I swear to God, I was not a part of that. It's like, maybe a couple times.
We'll
Gotta
just tell him
get
that.
that
Just
one.
tell him watch the first 20 minutes, then he'll get the whole gist of the episode.
That's right.
Anytime somebody mentions a Vicks Vapor Rub or mashed potatoes, we started giggling like little girls again, and then it all just went back down the hill again, even though we pushed it back up the hill. Yeah. Oh my God.
Go get the good
So
stuff.
CGI He-Man.
What's your thoughts?
Well, all right. I will attempt to do this because I'm still having my giggle fits. All right. So being legit here, being honest, being true, and seen.
I don't know. Just be Bud's latest comment.
That's the Filmation logo. If you want to, if OnlyFans, you do the Filmation logo on the
And then I'll hit
one
the chime.
and then Bobby will come up with the
If you're watching,
my
Mattel, we're
God.
willing.
Oh, God. That'd be funny.
This is comedy gold right here. All right. So okay. CGI He-Man. When they first showed the artwork, and it was yes, but by Vapor. It actually, that was like leaked, so they weren't the most thrilled with that, if I remember right. But I was like, well, that's definitely different than what I would expect this to be. Okay, that's definitely more in a vein that I wasn't expecting. And then I waited till the trailer hit. The trailer was the thing that made me go, oh, okay, this is definitely, there's some good stuff to this, and it's not going to be like I got worried that it was going to turn into like burp and fart jokes, because there's times with new stuff. I mean, this whole episode, this point is
we just did it. We're complaining about it.
I got a little worried about that, but when you saw the expanse of what they wanted to do, and you could tell, like from the different locations they were in, from the characters, and like Bobby was saying, I didn't know who was who except for He-Man and Skeletor. So there was a part of me going, I gotta watch it just to see what's happening here. That's interesting. And that was my initial reaction. Then when I watched the show, I really was pleasantly surprised, because something I said recently somewhere, I've said this many times, I'm sure, was the nostalgia of what we grew up with Masters in particular. I feel like it chokes the brand, because there are people that only want what we had. And then there's people who are open to other ideas and wanting it to grow to another generation. And this is that attempt. And this is the first time they really attempted that, because it's not like Transformers or Turtles, where every generation gets their new version of it. So it made me just go, well, what are they going to do with this show? And I was, from the minute I watched the first episode on, I was like, holy crap, this is fun. This is, the spirit is there. And I like that I didn't have all the answers. I like that the story is diverging from what we know, so we don't know everything that's going to happen for once. That's a huge part of why I like it so much.
I agree with you on that. Like, I don't know what to expect from the show, because they have changed things so drastically, which makes me excited to see what they're going to bring in to kind of glue it together, or keep it this separate, thing of its own. I definitely enjoyed parts of what they did in season 3, especially that one episode where they met Orko again. That was a really unique take and kind of like bridged a lot of it, which was really neat. But I definitely like the fact that I don't know what's going to happen next or what changes they have planned. And they drop hints, but you still don't know if it's ever going to pay off.
Yeah.
But they clearly have a planned direction. They're not just winging it and seeing what sticks.
I agree with that completely. I mean, when you look at the art book shows the thought they're putting into this series, and whether you want to like the thing. I'm so happy. Like there are people out there that they're like, this isn't for me. Like Bobby, I could tell that you wanted to see what they did with it at least, and you tried it out, but you didn't do the it's a cash grab or it's He-Man in name only. You could tell there's things in it that make it. This is a new version of it,
right.
but it's not your favorite. I get that, and I appreciate that you're at least open-minded in that way, where you're not just going, oh, I hate it as a cash grab or whatever.
No, I didn't hate
that.
Yeah.
So, and that's what bugs me is it's if you give it a chance, you sit down and watch it. There's things about this show that did things that they never have been able to do, like the fact that Adam is from a jungle tribe, the Tiger tribe. He's raised in the beginning of the show by Cringer, and his adopted sister is Kraz, who becomes Ramnam. I mean, that for me was like, I like that. It's something new. It's something I didn't expect it to happen, but I'm loving the fact because I grew up with the mini comics and the Alcala ones especially. I always wanted to see the He-Man coming from the jungle in order to protect the greater world, and it's like, it's not identical to what I wanted to see as a kid, but we got it finally. We got that version where he's not just from the castle. He is King Randor's son, but it's done in a different way where it's like, let's sidestep that for a little bit. Let's make it a little more the Lost Son kind of a vibe, and the Lost Prince kind of a vibe and stuff. And I like that when he meets his dad, it isn't the happiest thing either. I like that there is a butting of heads between them because he's grown up in a different manner and all that. So, yeah.
This is probably one of the biggest changes that I've always liked. Because, Duncan being man-at-arms, he's always been like their engineer, their weapons master. So, in this
all
one...
badass.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I love man-at-arms.
And I still love him in this show, even though it's a completely different take to him. Because he started off, and Cronus, is his teacher. He's like his mentor.
Yeah.
But
you could tell he wasn't bad. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And he already knows that, like, this kid's going to be better than what I can do. Yeah. So I've really got to keep my eye on him. Because he's already doing stuff that he shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
And, just sensing that potential within him. And then he goes off and he does his own thing. And he's got his comedy moments. You could tell he had a more pure heart. But again, just seeing the duplicity of the bad guys where they portrayed in a lot of ways that he portrayed a father-like figure over Man-at-Arms.
Yeah.
And kind of fooled him into the sense of security that you should be with me kind of thing. You should be here working with me. But then putting him down enough to just kind of keep him at bay, well, don't get too cocky, kid, that Han Solo thing.
Yeah.
It was a very good relationship to start it off. And again, give him his counterpart. Because, they all had their counterparts on the evil side to the good side. And I think they did really dynamic matchups, which we didn't always have because it's not exactly what you would expect,
Yeah, the thing about the original Masters of the Universe was it was kind of they were rolling with it as characters were coming out. So, I mean, they had the initial 8-back characters, but then after that point, it kind of like, okay, you could have Clawful and Fisto be enemies, or you could have Jitsu and Fisto be enemies. or you could have whatever. And it's like the line itself, when I was a kid, it was the most open-ended idea compared to Transformers. It was flat out, okay, Prime and Megatron have to go head to head, and you have your team ups on that one. Same with a lot of other ones, pretty much G.I. Joe and all that stuff. But it's like Masters, the more rollout they did with characters, the more it wasn't set in stone that you have to have these guys fighting. The only two, it was always He-Man and Skeletor. But beyond that, it was very open world, I guess, with play, if you want to call it that. And it worked. And the thing about this show is they can define that from the get-go. And that's what I like about it, where, see, here's the thing. Revelation, I know there's a lot of people that like that, and I like elements of what it did. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing at all, but the one problem I have with that series more than anything is it never established the rules for the story it was trying to tell. It made the rules up as the story was unfolding, and it made it really convoluted near the end for me. It's like when you get into, okay, so like, I know that was a big thing of, okay, so if anybody knows how to say by the power of Grayskull, they could turn into a heroic version of themselves, or a powered up version. I know there were people that were like, how does that work? And all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, that felt weird to me to begin with. And then all of a sudden Evil Lynn can do this. And now Evil Lynn's doing this other thing. It's just like, it amped itself up, but it's like, what are the rules to the power of Grayskull from the get-go? We think we know them, but this show is throwing them out the window and kind of playing loose and fancy free with this stuff.
That's right.
This show is showing the rules and explaining the rules and letting you know why this is a big deal if this happens. And I like that about it. And it's doing it from the beginning instead of just all of a sudden, oh, Evil Lynn's touching the power sword. What the boom, and something else happens. You're like, did not see that coming. Okay, So
right. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's one of the best parts, because everything you thought you knew about Masters Universe is thrown out the window immediately.
Yeah.
And they're explaining rules that don't necessarily, like the way they're doing it, it's not something that can't exist with what's already been established. Like the power of Grayskull itself, like, well, yeah, I mean, that power's always been a dual thing, whether it was in the hands of good or in the hands of evil. Well, this is showing you that there's this primordial power.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who uses it, it can be either used for good or bad. And they show you that there's a definitive split, but it's not just one or the other. Both can exist at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like in our standard story, it's only one or the other, whoever's wielding the sword.
Yeah.
Well, now everybody has this potential to harness the power. So how are they going to use it? And they give an example where one person who is good goes bad,
mm-hmm.
which was another very interesting arc.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought that was actually one of the best arcs.
Yeah, I think so.
And again, they had it planned from the start, because you started to see those little hints in the very first season towards the end. And they didn't even really play into it much into the second season until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
But, the seeds were planted within that very first season. So they have a big overall picture planned out for this thing.
Yeah.
And they went and they got 3 seasons done very quickly, because they were dropping them like one after the other, which was great.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited, and I hope they continue that format, because I really was like, man, I can't wait until the next one.
Yeah. And I lost my mind that they've never done that before with the two sides of the power until this series. And when we were kids, it was a really cool concept, because it was a very 80s concept. It was, you are special. Like Mr. Rogers always used to be, you're special just by being you and all that stuff. And it's like that. There's nothing wrong with that idea because everybody's got their own thing they're good at. Everybody has, their own talents, their own strengths, whatever. But when they went there and they're like, okay, the idea of He-Man on Filmation is a magical construct around Prince Adam being able to do something more heroic than he can just by himself. Yeah. You're fighting magic against magic, but it was always a physical version of that when He-Man did it. Now all of a sudden you're saying they're tapping into magic, and there's two sides of the coin. There's a power of Grayskull or Grayskull power, a good version, and then a Havoc power, an evil version, a selfish version. And when they did that, I think that was the moment where I fell in love with the show, because I loved that they finally gave you that versus it's always been like a MacGuffin. Skeletor always wants a MacGuffin to find a way to fight He-Man. In this version, it's not so much about that. It's like he's as powered up just as much as He-Man now. So it's more about trying to do the chess game to make this work versus I need the Diamond Ray of Disappearance, or I need this, I need that, or whatever. So I really love that angle to this show, and I loved how, first off, when they did they all transformed in the first season. I wish I had a video of my kids watching that because they lost their freaking minds. My daughter, the minute she saw Teela become the sorceress, she lost her mind because she's like, it's like she's Raven on Teen Titans, but she's cosmic. I can't believe it, because that's one of her absolute favorite characters in cartoons. And then, like my son was cheering just because he loves seeing everybody turning into something powered up. And then when you see Skeletor, and he just goes in there and he doesn't even ask him. He goes into the non-consensual, I'm turning you into my bitches, basically. Yes. And he just forms his Havoc-powered minions. And I like that he's still building the ranks of that leading through the first season until they get to Rakaz. And even the seeds of him are sowed on the first episode with Cringer and all that. And you know that guy is not a good person when you hear Rakaz is the reason Cringer's fangs are filed down. He's also got no claws, and he's made Cringer go up against his own tribe in battles that it's like pit bull fights and crap like that. It's like, that dude is effed up and he's on a kid's show. That's nuts,
Like I said, it's real dark.
It can. And like my son even, like, he's told me a few times, my son's 6 years old, and he actually like cowers into me sometimes because Skeletor gets intense on that show. And I'm like, this is what I wanted as a kid. I wanted that.
Right. You definitely did. You wanted Skeletor is supposed to be the epitome of evil, and he looks like it,
He does.
The dark colors, the colder tones, that skull face. I mean, he wears the face of death. And then he's just got some corny, cheesy one-liners. But I get it. We had to tone it down for the kids. Totally understand what they were going for. He-Man can't fight. We can't show that on TV. He's got to find other ways to solve his issues. Totally get it. Mm-hmm. Now, without those restrictions, they're finally able to do things with these characters that they were not able to do.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't mind keeping it campy and fun. Like you said, we've got that darkness with the story with Rakaz, how, Skeletor definitely leans into being an uncle who's willing to sacrifice his nephew to get what he wants.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we have He-Man and Skeletor dancing on a train.
That was a little weird for me. That was goofy.
I will say, out of the seasons, for me at least, season 2, it wasn't bad, but it was the one that had me going, you're right on the precipice of when I'm going to be pissed off watching this show. So are you going to stick the landing, or are you going to keep going to spoil me, please. Which fun. Okay, and one episode that after rewatching it more than once, I actually fell in love with was the Skeletor's birthday one. That one made me fall in love with Duncan and go, I love this character now. And it took me a while because he was the only character out of the heroes that I really didn't have a read on him at the end of season 1. He was there and he was kind of the good-hearted, natured guy that was always cracking jokes in the dramatic situations. But then with that episode where he genuinely is trying to make Skeletor feel better, which is silly sounding if you think about it. But when he did that, I'm like, I like this dude because he's full of heart. He is so full of heart that even he's wanting to make the bad guy feel good on his birthday. How often does that happen?
It's not something we see. But, if more people were thinking like that and trying to make him have this birthday celebration and making him feel valued, would we still have that villain?
No. And he also, if you would have gotten him a battle cat, he might just be off playing with his battle cat and that'd be the end of the show. You never know. He just rides off into the sunset on battle cat, but his own version, not Cringer.
Oh, Panther.
Panther, basically. Panther. If they finally bring Panther on.
See, this is it. Right.
Thank you, Jay.
No, I agree. He's got the same passion that we all have for it. In a lot of ways, he's probably one of the most articulate in how to express it, where the rest of us are just like, yeah, toys.
That's how I am.
I'm weird like that. When I was a kid, I always went to my toy box and I had almost in my head, I had a plot synopsis of what I wanted to play by the end of my playtime before dinner.
Wow.
So like if I played, I was not just jamming the figures together like they're fighting. It was like, okay, Skeletor has this plan. He's gonna be over in this side of the room. And I did that. And it's like I love when I see something that is thought through and I'm looking at it on I didn't see that coming and that's well done. It makes me get really excitable because storytelling always makes me enthusiastic if it's done well.
Yeah.
And that for me is like anybody who doesn't like this show, you can like it if it's not your aesthetics. I get it. It's more Pixar meets Masters, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
But the story of this thing, with a few little minor hiccups in season 2, but season 1 and season 3 are really freaking solid. And I'm like, please bring season 4, 5, and 6 on because I really need some Horde. I really want to see what they do with this. And they left enough open that I really want to see what they go. Because there's like secrets of what's still the deal with Tila, what's the deal with Eldris. My big question is, when's Fisto going to show up? Because he's my favorite, other than He-Man, he's one of my absolute favorite characters in Masters. And I'm like, well, he kind of makes a lot of sense to be one of these characters, but how could they make him as well? Because he might not be like a woodsman looking guy this time around. He might actually be a younger version or something or whatever. Who knows?
Or maybe he'll have a big foot instead.
Oh.
It's like just come out looking like a Sasquatch.
Footso.
It's like in when they did Robot Chicken and they had like the Captain Planet skit. He jumps to the Captain Planet. You got a glass of my eye and my foot in your balls. It's like I want Fisto to do that then.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
That would be great. I'd be down.
Yeah, no, that's just me being me, and I guess that's why the dude's just like, hey, I should put him on the show and just unleash him every now and then. But thank you. Yeah,
that's what you got to do. Sometimes you just got to let it rip.
Yeah, just like a fart.
Just like a fart. Just let it rip.
Well,
don't trust it.
Captain Biscuit there with Fisto loves his horse. Well, I mean, they did introduce Stridors in season 3.
They did,
and that was really cool. I like that. I like the design of those because again, it's that whole aesthetic of it's so new, you don't know what to expect with them. So it doesn't look just like a robotic horse. These look like something out of Tron now, and I kind of dig that. So
yeah. Well, I've definitely enjoyed with the toy line because, again, this is the one series that I get for Connor. When I first started getting back into it, I was just doing Origins, and I liked the idea that the CGI stuff was at a cheaper price point. And again, the idea of getting that for a child, it's got the play features and stuff like that a kid's toy should have. But then they started everybody had a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Nobody has a motorcycle in this show. Well, I mean, eventually we did get Panther in bike form, Panther.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that worked, and that was what Skeletor, his toy had was Panther.
Mm-hmm.
And the He-Man version of his motorcycle was the Ground Ripper, and I was like, that works, it's got that motorcycle chopper feel to it. That works. And then all of a sudden they released this trap jaw in this big wheel. Reminded me of that one dude from Carmageddon, if you guys ever saw that game. The guy who was between two giant wheels and he was basically the axle. And that's what Trap Jaw's freaking bike looks like this giant freaking wheel. And that was cool. And then they did Man at Arms, and they gave him his motorcycle. And it had all of the elements of the battle ram and the sky sled. And I'm like, so they're really doing this neat job of, we're just giving them simple motorcycles, simple vehicles, and it's a $20 price point, and you get a figure and you get a vehicle.
Yeah.
And again, for kids, for toys, that's amazing. Not to mention it gave them a way to do repaints and variants too, which is also always a good thing because you're making money that way. You're using the same mold, but giving somebody an option. And the Panther Skeletor is the Disco Skeletor, which is still my favorite variant.
And the colors for He-Man are more of the traditional colors.
Right.
They're more browns and earth tones and reds and gold. If I remember right, or I don't know if but it's more silver, red, and I'm looking at it. It's on the floor. My son plays with it, but it's more those tones than the blues and the silvers on the show. And I actually got more excited to get my son that version because I'm like, well, that looks more like He-Man that I grew up with. But he still loves any version you put in his hand. Basically, he'll play with them for all afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. My son got those versions for Christmas the one year, and unfortunately his dog got a hold of them. But now he's got a bit of a different set. He's getting the Origins set now. Santa dropped off a couple, plus Dad got him a figure, and then Bud helped, get some stuff out here to make sure that he's got a healthy start on his Origins collection. And his birthday's around the corner, so who knows what he's getting for that.
I know. Yeah, I didn't think of that, actually, the Man-at-Arms variant. That was another one of those, why did they put him as the other version for the hero? But then with Trapjaw coming out with the Doom Roller thing or whatever, it makes sense that you got, arch rivals together then.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Again, it really does help make sense. It fits that mold. But you're right. I didn't put that together. His alternate color scheme looks like an homage to the 87 movie colors.
Yeah.
And that's a very good pickup, Bud, that I did not pick up on. So that's fantastic. And again, a really neat variant. So, and J-Max, it was a great deal, Scott. Mine is on the way also. Too fun not to. That was because they said they got the CGI castle for $34.
Oh, okay.
So which retailers got it down that cheap? Is that the one from
Deep Discount?
Deep Discount?
Yeah, Deep Discount.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's what you said.
I actually want to get on that because I have some of the CGI figures and stuff, and I mentioned to my son that they were going to have Grayskull, and his eyes got wide, and he goes, Daddy, I need to put it on the shelf next to yours. And I'm like, okay.
How do you say no to that? You can't.
I don't. That's
You
the worst
can't.
part is I can't. And
That
the
is
fact
one-
that it's got the motorized stuff and electronics are going to make him think his is better than mine then.
Right.
So
And to him, it is, and that's
Yeah.
yeah,
great.
absolutely. Yeah.
But that classics is still that Castle Grayskull that we all had as a kid, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
because even though it didn't have that extra flooring across the top to make that third level, we all played with it like it did,
Sure.
you know, because you had to put something back there, otherwise they couldn't shoot the gun.
Right.
Yeah.
You just hung off the end.
Anybody on the throat? Nope. Hop down.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the green mount is supposed to be the battle bones. That's right, because they've got the He-Man and Stridor coming out, and
Yeah.
then again, the perfect kind of like alternate pairing. Instead of giving us a Stridor and a Night Stalker, they are giving us Skeletor on this mounted creature that is supposed to be battle bones.
Mhm.
And it's again using that element. No, this isn't the battle bones that we had, but we're giving you hints of it with this design, and we're gonna call it this, and it does make sense. It's okay. Like, I'm fine with that. I think it's really, really cool that again they're still trying to keep the homages to the originals, and then still bring us really awesome stuff.
Well, like 2000X did that. Triclops created those skeleton warriors that multiplied, and like I don't know if did they ever name those in the toys, because I know they did the toy, and it was part of it was an accessory for for the slime pit. Was that a battle bones in that one too?
I do believe they called that one battle bones. Yeah.
So like to me, it's like if you're using the name and at least there's bones involved and they can be in a battle. Because like when I was a kid, it's like, well, that's just a transport for the figures, and that was the end of that. And I was happy with that. All well and good, but I kind of like the idea that they're taking things that maybe you didn't think would be an action figure, and you're now using them as an action figure. And it's like, trademark TM on all that stuff. That's great. But here's a battle bones that you can have Skeletor riding into battle on now. I'm down with that. That works.
Right.
And I like that they're full of Havoc energy. Like when you watch the show, they're glowing because the Havoc energy is coursing through them because Skeletor's controlling them. And I'm like, again, it works. When they do that kind of stuff, I absolutely love it.
No, I'm total in agreement with you here. So I pulled it up just to see. And they just call it a mutant warrior. They do not call him Battle Bones. But I think in the show they called him Battle Bones, though.
I think so. I knew one way or the other. I figured they alluded to it somehow. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But again, that's really cool. And another thing that I like about it is if you look at that original play set, again from 2000X for the Slime Pit, they incorporated elements of the show of it, which was great, but they've carried it into this 2000X line, or this new CGI line. That Slime Pit looks very similar to that Snake playset that they have for the 2000X line. It's got the same coloration. It's got this narrow set of steps that kind of leads up to this throne, and the throne on the playset does look a lot. It's very snakish and looks a lot like kind of the throne that this has, except this version's got bat wings. But it's still really, really cool, and I do like that.
Yeah, when we first saw the toys in Walmart, my son saw that out of everything. He saw the big snake, and he grabbed it and goes, "Daddy, we need this," and started running. And I'm like, "Hold on! Like, I was not expecting to even buy anything today. What the heck?" So,
first off, wait a minute. How much is it? And yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it pop up, I was like, oh my God, I need this so bad. And then, it was like, I looked at the price and I was like, not right now, but give it time. And sure enough, it came down to a great price. So
I want to say I got mine for my son's after his birthday, because that was when it was in the clearance aisles at Walmart, and I think I paid $10.
Yeah, it
Something
went down
like that.
super cheap.
Yeah.
I kind of like. I was arguing over whether I should get more or not, because it's like I do kind of want more, but I can't think of a reason to get more. I can't justify it even for the price. Because it's like, I'm not going to be doing multiple scenes with these things or anything like that. But man, it's such a cool, fun little set. You know, I should buy them all up at the clearance price and wait for next year's Toys for Tots. And then go around and buy like a bunch of the He-Man Skeletor 2-packs if they ever go on clearance or I can ever find them. And then throw those in with it and do it for Toys for Tots. Guys, go to the clearance aisles, hit them up now while everything's on clearance, buy them all up, and let's get some toy drives running.
Be cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Actually, another guy who watches Mega J's channel, Renegade Biker, he sent me some stuff on it, talking about how to set up a toy drive, and it's something that I want to look into. Especially coming up this year for Christmas. I think it'd be great if we could all try to, you know, raise some money for some charity, and I don't know what we would do yet or what we'd do, but even then, just getting together a toy drive for, you know,
I'm all
kids
for
in
that.
need.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
You know, I mean, imagine, you know, just getting a lot of toys for Christmas and being like, yeah, this is from a bunch of dudes that talk about toys on YouTube all the time, and they want to be able to share that with you.
Just don't listen to that one toy frenzy.
That one episode,
Where Uncle Sean jumped in.
I have to make a new thumbnail for this. This is Kmart started putting the explicit lyric stickers on there.
No, you need like
the warning, and then just have the arrow pointing at me, going. We blame him.
Shuffle.
He'd be holding up Vicks Vapor Rub with hot dogs in it and a bowl of mashed potatoes, you know?
Well, the bowl be
and then
sitting
underneath
somewhere.
it, I didn't know it wasn't that kind of party.
Who's up for this?
Nobody told me I needed a shirt and shoes.
No service.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was fun, though. That's my favorite part of the episode. It was fun. I've been quiet since, you know.
He had his moment to shine.
Yeah, I got it all out. That was good.
So Thanos Copter says he just posted some pics of the CGI toys with art from the book as the backdrops.
Cool.
That's going to be amazing to look through. I'll definitely be checking that out. And figuratively speaking, says he shops all year around and donate toys to his church for Toys for Tots.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Very
Excellent,
nice.
guys. Definitely share that love with everybody.
Yeah, kids need it.
I was going to say, have a parental advisory warning. We're going to start needing it now, just in case.
Well, we weren't anything like over the top. It was just
No, we
fun.
weren't. A couple F-bombs. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
And Truffle Shuffle thumbnail for the win.
Yeah.
It's actually, you know, if I go back and I'm downloading all these and I make the B-roll, that's got to make the cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be part of the Toy Frenzy intro video.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be great.
Oh, man. So here's a question for you. As I know Bobby doesn't have the book. Is there anything in the book that since you've been able to look, have you been able to look through the book? I guess is the first part.
I have. I mean, you know, I finally got it home yesterday, and it was just one of those things where this is probably, and I did specifically mark it off.
Okay.
The vehicles portion.
Okay. Yeah.
Because there is so much we haven't seen yet that's in concept.
Oh, wow.
The thing that blew my mind looking at those pages is the vehicles we typically see on the show are so much more like Star Wars looking. And then when you see that one, I'm like, wait, where was this? And it's like some of them they actually said, like the dragon. I was like, there was a dragon walker? Oh, it's in a flashback. Hell if I knew that, but it's cool that I actually get to see the dragon walker in this. Did not expect that.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they bring more of it into it too, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Because it makes me excited to think that maybe we'll finally get some of these things in Origins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know,
go ahead.
No, Sean, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I know one complaint that I've heard, and even I personally was like, I missed the animal references in their vehicles, like we had with the Wind Raider, Spider, all that. And I'm like, what, that was the only piece of magic that was missing for me on this show. And now that I saw that, I'm like, I gotta shut my mouth now, because it's like it's not front and center like it was back in the day, but it's there, and maybe it'll get even bigger with the next
Right.
seasons or whatever. So
We can only
yeah.
hope, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the show is amazing, and I can definitely just keep going on about it because I like that it's in a real earnest way to try and bring new
Mhm.
to a franchise that in a lot of ways gets held back because it doesn't really reinvent itself.
Right.
Yeah, it's been sacred to a lot of people, and I would never want to fault a fan to say this meant so much to me as a kid that if you reinvent this, it will not be my version. It's like, okay, that's fine, but what's the version to the next generation or to two generation? I mean, basically, it's two generations now.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Since we've had a new version of He-Man since 2000X and all that, and I mean, let me ask you both this as well. Like in the 80s, I have the power.
Yes.
In the 2020s, we have the power. What is your opinion on that being the new through line compared to the old through line as you're a fan?
Why did it take us 40 years?
Okay.
You know, I mean, in a lot of ways, like, yes, He-Man he had the power. He was the one that came and saved the day for the most part from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But there was always the theme of friendship and teamwork. But overall, if it wasn't for He-Man, then the rest of them wouldn't be able to win or succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it take us too long to show that it can't all depend on one person?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's more modern day thinking as well.
Yeah.
You know, you're including, instead of having the cool kid, you know, you got all the kids being cool. You know, in a way.
Definitely.
It's like when they all do that power up and stuff. It's kind of more video game-ish. When I watch it, it felt video game-ish to me. So I think that also ties in with the younger generation. You know, not so much us, but the younger generation likes stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're not going to like, you know, like I always said, they're not going to like my He-Man. That's old looking cartoons. They're not going to like that, you know. So they're going to get. It has to be fresh anyway for new kids. It always will be, and that's why it's aimed towards kids more than anything else. But a lot of adults like the show as well. So
it's very
well. The thing that got me about that was I thought of how many times growing up, if I wanted to play actually like I'm He-Man, you know, and my friends are Skeletor or Man-at-Arms or whoever, if you wanted to be He-Man, everybody else just kind of was like, I guess I'll be Man-at-Arms. I guess I'll be Skeletor. You know, it's like that whole, they don't get the spotlight. They don't get that moment where they're able to do by the power of Grayskull and like, boom, they get to have that special moment. And that was the thing. Like when I was a kid, I was so fierce about that. I wanted to be He-Man. It's like, you know, I was a curly-haired, dark-haired kid with glasses, but I had to be He-Man for some reason. You know, I did not fit the bill in any way, shape, or form visually. And the thing that I like about this now is it's like He-Man in Filmation was basically a superhero. And that's, you know, that's how he was written. That's fine. 2000X, which is still like my favorite version of He-Man because of the mythologies behind the stories they did, and there was some history there that was like they kept digging into it and getting it interesting for me. He was basically used as like a weapon of mass destruction 90% of the time on that show. He was always the last best case scenario, He-Man showing up and he's gonna wreck everything. Boom. But until then, Man-at-Arms is in charge and he's gonna do this on the battlefield and all that stuff. And like some of the best episodes of that show were when The Last Stand is one of my absolute favorite episodes, because that was the one where all bets are off. Adam is the only guy between Grayskull and Skeletor, and not only was it just Skeletor's henchmen, it was also his Council of Evil. So you had like 20 players on the battlefield, and Adam's standing there between them and Grayskull. And then when he gets to show up as He-Man finally, it's one of the greatest cinematic fight scenes. But it's a weapon of mass destruction still, because he literally is the last guy taking care of everything at the end of the day until the cavalry showed up.
Yep.
For me, it's like watching this show made me look at it and go, Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles really showed their influence in toys and in movies and in animation. Because the thing about Ninja Turtles is any kid could point to any turtle and say, I like that one for this reason. So like my daughter, Donatello's her turtle. My son, Raphael or Michelangelo. Depends on if he's happy or angry on which day. Leonardo was always mine. So going into this show, it's like He-Man gets that moment, but then Cringer, my favorite character in this show, hands down, is Cringer. And I love that he shows up and he still has courage. He's still willing to fight against Rakaz and everything else going on at the beginning of the first episode. And he still manages to be a father figure and still have a masculinity to Adam and to Praz. And then when he gets that power up and he does I Have the Power for the first time, it was freaking meaningful for the first time. And it wasn't because Printer's this scaredy cat, the way they portrayed him on Filmation. It was, they're giving you your power again. You're able to be whole again, because the power of Grayskull is giving you a second chance.
Yeah.
And that meant something to me as a 40-year-old man who I've done enough mistakes in my life and done a lot of stupid things, including Vicks Vapor Rub and hot dogs, apparently, that it's like you see these characters getting like, and what Bobby was saying before, and I think you said it too, Oz, about how Cronus had Duncan under his thumb to the point where he didn't believe in himself.
Yeah.
And then the power of Grayskull then allows Duncan in the third season, he has that, I'm not just a tinker, I'm a builder. And it's like he believes in himself for the first time. And it's like there's all of this stuff where it's like you look at these characters and you can see the weaknesses in them, and you see what sharing the power creates with these characters, not only as a team, but individually. And it's a beautiful moment. And it's like when it happened on the show the first time, I was grinning from ear to ear, and I'm just sitting there like, I'm so happy I got to see this for the first time. Because now if you're a kid that likes tech or you like to build, Duncan's your guy probably. You want to be Man-at-Arms now. If you're a girl, you can completely get into Tila with, hey, I could be a thief and I could do this and that. But then all of a sudden, boom, I'm now sorceress and I'm going to go and take care of things with magic or whatever. And Cringer, same thing. I would want to play Cringer if I was playing as a kid now. I would want to be able to turn into Battle Cat and rip somebody to shreds on the playground.
Yeah.
So it's like that was such a welcome thing. Like you said, why is it taking it so long? Well, the way that they did it on this show was the perfect way to show it and go, there you go. It's like you see why we did it that way. It's not just Adam's playing a role to subvert, oh, that's not He-Man. No, it's building everybody up so they can rise to the challenge and use this power for the right reasons.
Yeah, definitely. And I also like to bring up the fact that, even my buddy's Customs here said it very well too. As a kid, it was me that has the power because I was watching the show. Now that we are adults, we are the ones making the show. So we have the power. And that ties exactly right into with what you were saying. Like, we're the ones that are writing this now. We're the ones making it. It took us 40 years to get into the position where we can put those elements in there. Because again, Skelly said that he never quite saw himself in He-Man.
Yeah.
Because he's got the dark hair. He's got a darker complexion. And he's Armenian. So He-Man didn't relate to him as much. There were plenty of other really awesome characters that could, but they never had the spotlight. So now everybody gets a bit of the spotlight, and I think that's fantastic.
I would be curious if Skelly was a kid now, and granted, we will never know this, but if he was a kid now watching this show, I would be curious if he did lean towards Duncan with all of the creative ways he uses it to express himself. And on top of that, then he is a darker haired character. He's not just a pretty boy, blonde haired barbarian guy anymore. It's now there's a tech guy, and now he's got heart and he's got thought process behind what he's doing and all that. And it's like the more I think about that, I'm like, yeah, he probably would think Duncan's pretty cool, maybe.
Oh,
Uh-oh,
well,
Skele.
the man was here to tell you.
Yeah.
See?
Definitely Duncan.
You didn't watch half the
No,
show, I hope.
and yeah, that's the other thing. After this, I'll get the DM, Sean, you're fired. Okay.
Wait, people were getting paid to do this?
Yeah, right? Where's my...
Well, I started my
OnlyFans
OnlyFans for my hot dog buns. You know?
Oh, man.
Look, man, hot dogs. They're the next one after the eggs to go up in price. They ain't cheap.
Exactly.
Vicks is going up too.
Yeah, right.
Now that we brought it up, it is, yeah.
We just sold a bunch of Vicks tonight.
We sold a ton of Vicks, a ton of hot dogs. People are going out and buying instant potatoes. And they're trying to party like they're in their 40s and have no idea what these three elements mean together. What do I do?
Combined, they can become a dad bod. You know, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like the Captain Planet or whatever. It's like, no, it's just dad bod. It's just, you become dad bod.
I mean, people are out there buying, packs of hot dog buns to stuff under their shirts. So they got like a 6-pack. Like
there you like rumble strips on the freeway.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
Put the reflectors on your ass.
We did a paid
Cool
promotion
Uncle
earlier.
Sean. Cool Uncle Sean just let this one go down the tubes. Oh boy.
Tubes. What the fuck is tubes?
We ended up talking to the Ninja Turtles for a while, and they even kicked us out.
Hey, I didn't bring up the mashed potatoes. That wasn't me bringing up the mashed potatoes.
That was me. He brought up the Vicks.
Yeah, I brought up the Vicks. Well, Vicks can give you a sensation, you know.
It will definitely give you a rush.
Shit.
Told you he was dead.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure. He'll watch it. I know he'll watch
Sean, you have explaining to do. Like on Lucy back in the old days with Desi. Lucy, you have explaining to do. I never trust a fart because when I hear a fart, it makes me think that that's something on its way trying to say hi to me. So it's just no good. It's like a welcome. It's like, hey, by the way, I'm going to be a guest pretty soon. Okay, thanks for letting me know.
A fart's just talking shit. That's all it is.
That's right, man. There's some asshole up behind you that talk shit every day.
I had no idea Kevin Smith voiced Triclops on the CGI show. That's pretty cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't aware. I know Henry Rollins did them on the Revelations, which was amazing. But didn't realize it was Kevin Smith.
The cast on the CGI show were so under the radar. I didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
So, and that's something I liked. I liked that they were like a brand new. I didn't have any preconceptions of what they could bring to the roles, and then when I heard them, I'm like, okay, that works for me on all of these characters. So, and I will say one last thing too. I like that this Skeletor is in it to win it, and that guy, he has plans and he gets stuff done. Yeah. Because season 1 ends on such a great note that it had me so excited to see season 2. And I like that we got to see Skeletor go through a bunch of stuff in this series in just 20 some episodes. And I told my son, because he dropped off on season 3 because he'd rather watch them when they're all out instead of like season 1 and then we stop and then season 2. So I'm trying to get him back into season 3, and I told him, I'm like, dude, Skeletor ends up becoming like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man because he loves Stay Puft. I'm like, you need to see the end of this thing. This is nuts. And I'm like, Grayskull, the face of Grayskull. I'm like, and my son just like his eyes got as huge as saucers. I'm like, because I'm like, I'm tired of this. I'm like, you've sat on this for too long. We need to see the season 3. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess we should wind it down now because we've been going on 3 hours.
Yeah,
Only about 20 minutes of which was about
Wait.
CGI He-Man.
We did 20 minutes of show in 3 hours.
And it was the last 20 minutes.
Totally
It was the last 20 minutes.
Actually, how long, Skelly, how long have you been in the chat and watching? Because that's probably about how long.
And what have you seen?
What have you seen? And Ray Black finally has joined in with us this evening. Thank you for joining us, Ray. It's good to have you here.
Can we stay on a couple more minutes just to?
Yeah, of course, we definitely can. I mean, you missed all the really, really fun talk. I don't know if we can ever get back to quite the wind-up we were on.
That was fun, though.
That was a lot of fun.
I needed that. I definitely needed that.
Well, I'm glad we could facilitate that for you here, man.
We brought the frenzy. It wasn't toys, but we brought the frenzy this week.
It's always a frenzy here, one way or another. That's for sure.
It's kind of fun.
He so aptly named this show. Absolutely, I love it. Eldor giving us the shout outs here, saying, "Indeed, sir, great show. Thank you for showing us around there, Skele Vader, at your gallery again." So yes, definitely. Thank you for that. That's great. If anybody showed up late and you missed that at the beginning of the show, make sure you go back and rewatch at least the first 10, 20 minutes or so.
And then fast forward another 10 minutes and then you'll have some laughs.
Yeah, it definitely was. It's one of the best episodes yet.
I don't know about that, but it was fun.
It was one of the most fun to film.
Yeah, it was fun. Definitely a lot of fun. It was good.
So Bud just giving us the update here saying, I'm looking up CGI. It's still nothing about season 4 rumored or announced, but if it does, I think it will be announced with the trailer of Revolution, which is coming out this year. That's a good point. They might wait until then.
Yeah.
And Skelly saying, nighty night, guys. Can't wait to experience the full frenzy tomorrow morning.
Oh, God.
Skelly, don't play it out loud around the kids.
Yeah.
And make sure you're drinking off and on. You'll be spitting your stuff out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I already spit out my stuff earlier today.
The sprinkler.
Yeah.
So this was one for the ages. Thanks, guys.
It'll be on YouTube forever, so you can always watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. You can always go back and watch it again.
I'm gonna watch it tomorrow just to watch that part.
We'll certainly pick you up, that's for sure.
Yeah, it will.
And Ray mentioning that she did catch Skelly at the beginning there. She didn't miss it. Excellent. That's great.
That's good. Yeah.
And Mr. Home Arcade saying this was a good listen. Thanks for the entertainment. You are more than welcome.
We'll try to keep it up every time.
Yeah, we'll definitely try. And Ronald saying it was a good show tonight. Absolutely. We had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
Skelly with the Bobby Spitter, Sean is the sprinkler, and Oz. Well, he's Oz.
God, that's funny, man.
True.
I've tried showing dance moves to my kids, and I've just given up because I have dad bod too much. It's just that I literally look like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man having spasm.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Hashtag 3D truffle shuffle.
There you go.
That's right, folks. You can get that here. Nobody else is bringing you the 3D truffle shuffle.
The only other time I've done the truffle shuffle was at Legends Con. So if you want to go to Legends Con and see the live truffle shuffle, I might do it again this year, depending if other people like Captain America and Chewbacca want to kick my ass later on or not.
That's worth the tickets, man.
Look, I'll be there, so you won't be on your own. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
I know.
The double
We're gonna be roomies. The double truffle shuffle.
Right.
It looks like we put somebody to sleep earlier.
I was gonna say Ray Black was clearly not as amused as the rest of us were tonight. She fell asleep.
Sorry, we're that boring.
These guys are talking about CGI again. I'm gonna go take a nap. Wake me up when it gets fun. And then she missed it, which is why you have to stay awake for the whole show.
Because that was some fun shit, man. Sorry, Skele, I didn't mean to swear.
Lies. And Duchess with a great show tonight.
She's gonna have to change her name if she keeps watching and laughing at us, because she won't be as dark as she should be. She's gonna be happier Duchess after this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure she definitely got her laughs tonight for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prowler saying this was good stuff tonight, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. The Skvarna scoot. I love it.
Bud, he comes up with some shit, doesn't he, man?
Hey, he's quick with it too.
I mean, yeah,
It's like, scoot, there it is.
We have the first official Frenzy all original dance. The Skvarna scoot.
Who's got the power? We got the power. Scoot, there it is. Here's the power. Here's the power. Scoot, there it is.
Frenzy. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up now. We're gonna wind this shit up again.
Yeah, right. Who's in for a doubles or a second? Second breakfast.
Rub's getting real low.
The sun's getting real low.
Who's gonna peel the potatoes?
One comment all night.
Oh,
It's like the power
We're all
slide.
slap happy. We're all exhausted. I'm tired.
are you feeling skinny, Tony?
Who's got the Scotch tape?
It's right next to my
Oh
book.
my god, my hot dog buns are killing me.
Well, after sitting out for so long, they're gonna get stale.
No, they've been overworked. There's too much jolliness.
Oh man.
Are you kidding? Not yet.
That's funny.
I will attempt it. Yes, I will attempt it, Scott.
Sean, we're gonna have to put on a show at Legion.
The horsemen are gonna drop kick me out of that thing, going, "What the hell's wrong with this crazy white boy?"
They're gonna be like, all right, so he brings
His body's trying to
bald bearded friend with him this year, and this is what happens. Now get that guy out of here. He's causing trouble.
His body's trying to do dance moves that his body can't catch.
His body's trying to do him. His age is telling him no.
Yes,
But he's persisting.
he's persistent. We just let him do it. Now he's in traction. It is what it is. At least he stopped working.
We're all
We're almost skinny
Speak for
wiener.
yourself. Speak for yourself.
sausage
Oh.
party.
Well, this is my
All right,
last episode ever on these shows. I'm sorry, guys.
I want
We
you
just
back.
got canceled.
I got canceled. I'm canceling myself.
Skelly's rethinking, man, that Bobby idea was pretty cool, but I don't know anymore.
He's thinking to himself right now, like, all right, so
Time
it's
to
not
clean
getting
house.
posted on my channel anymore.
Time to clean house.
He's
do
gonna
it right.
bring on his art gallery, buddy.
Yeah,
I could see that as a better option because, man, I'll just go down the rabbit hole more about the goddamn vapor. That's the gift that keeps on giving to me tonight. I don't know what it is. It's just every time I think of vapor rub, I'm giggling.
You get that's it.
That's funny shit, man. We haven't even lost anybody watching it yet, so that's good.
Well, okay, we got that at least. That's
Yeah.
Well, we don't know until Skelly gives us the tally count on subscribers. It's like Eldor made one of his puns earlier tonight that he was doing on Legion's class the other week, and I was like, I'm losing all my subscribers. The counter's going the wrong way, guys.
It's gonna be like, what the hell happened here?
I lost 20 subscribers last night. And it's still dropping.
They're all
YouTube says I
anti-people
owe-
rub.
It's like, YouTube says I owe them money now. What the hell just happened?
Yeah, right.
They're invoicing me. What the crap?
She appreciates how much more comfortable and outgoing you're getting.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
He's certainly gotten a lot more comfortable, and he lets himself he lets himself go wild every now and again, guys.
Mhm.
I always do, but I've been shy on the show. But I can, yeah. If you really know me, I'm pretty out there. Yeah, I can be wild. Yeah, Oz knows because I talk to him, off
That's
show.
right.
He knows how I am.
That's absolutely right. All right, everybody, we're gonna wrap it up, and here's the answer. They're not true subscribers there, and that's true. If they're dropping out at some of the content we've put up, they're just not true.
They're just anti-vapor rub. That's all.
Yeah, what the heck, man?
You gotta guess hot dogs.
Hot dogs, mashed potatoes.
Hot dogs, mashed potatoes.
Forgot about the
Vapor
lime
rub.
jello.
That's right. All right, everybody. We're gonna end up going all night if I don't hit these guys here. So, everybody have a good night. It was great
Thanks for the
seeing
fun,
y'all.
everybody.
I'm
Man.
so sorry.
You know what though? We haven't even done the YouTube thing. All right, so
Well, it's on your end of that video you play, right?
it's true. It's true. It's got the other projects.
It's just Thunder game.
Grayskull.
Smash that like button like it was just a vapor rub. And subscribe because you want more hot dogs in your life.
Just remember, folks, smack that like button. It's been
I
talking
got
shit
this
all
guy
week.
rolling, man.
All right, everybody. We'll see y'all next week for another Toy Frenzy. If Skelly watches this and doesn't kick us all off the show after tonight.
Yeah, we're just all sexy tonight, aren't we? Oh, God.
One more for the road.
One for the road.
Good night, everybody.